air pressure akin to gas pressure? If so, we definitely live under a dome on a flat Earth. What?
Wait, are you
Okay.
saying that air pressure and gas pressure are not the same thing?
Well, that's what
messed up?
Omni and like the fucking anti-flat Earth brigade fucking.
That's what I say.
Like,
Yeah, I say that if
yeah.
if
See,
you're
here we
gonna
go.
argue for the container,
Thank you.
yeah, that's a good one, Issa. I like it because I got to say, if you're going to argue for the container based on a definition, you've got to define the right word. The right word is air, not gas. Gas is usually a homogeneous, so it's unbonded molecules. Air is gaseous, but gas almost always refers to a particular
All right,
kind.
awesome.
So it's
Can you prove that there is no
So I would
containment?
ask this. Hold on. Instead of looking at it that
can you
with
prove
that
a
lens
negative
electric
rate start?
eggs, I would ask you, eggs. Would you find it more amenable if flat earthers were to say that you can't have air pressure without a container?
I think it'd be a debate on the correct topic. Yeah, but
Because I
wouldn't
find
agree with it.
fair
Well, it depends what you
enough.
say. I would agree.
But do you
Actually.
understand? Like, because I find we have to get
it.
away from this. We have to get away as a fucking flat earther. Like, we're getting bogged up. Like, it's like whenever you try to argue with someone who's gonna like arguing with an anti-flat earther is like arguing with the last conversation. And I just feel like that's how I feel, and I'm sure you feel the same way in many ways. But like the idea that if we get away from the idea of using gas pressure, which just knocks us into a 5-hour, 2-day debate over gas versus air pressure. You know what I mean? Like it winds up fucking like if we just said in total, you can't have air pressure. You can't have atmospheric air pressure without a container. I think that would be a better stance for
Yeah,
flat
I think I agree.
Earth.
Like, I kind of agree and disagree. Where I disagree is like container summons to mind a propane tank, right? But then I go, could a cup be a container? No open containers on the bus. Like, that's a weird statement, isn't it? Open containers. So what is a container? And it is something that does the verb of containing, right? So if something contains something else, you could say, I'm a container for my stomach acids, right? And it's could almost become ethereal, like I contain multitudes. I'm a container for my anger.
Well, I think. Well, that's why what makes this claim so psychedelic is the idea that you almost realize that like this is the big reason why I love flat Earth and everything about it is the idea that like once you understand that you can trust yourself, like i.e. you're not spinning, i.e. the Earth presents itself as flat and motionless. People being antipodal to you is somewhat ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, once you like, and then the idea that you can't have air pressure without some form of like containment, whether it be, I mean, like, so some people talk about, like, Omni will argue about, well, if I blow on a piece of paper, then I've got air pressure. And somebody made the point, you have to purse your lips in order to blow on the fucking thing anyway. So you need pressure. You know what I mean? Or you need containment of the air to create the pressure. And so like the pressure, like the fact that we have pressure on an atmospheric pressure, I mean, it's just like, it's so obvious that there would have to be some form of containment. I know to you look at gravity as containment though, right?
Yeah, it's just anything that does the containing, where even if it didn't turn out to be gravity, it's something behaving like gravity.
So
right?
there
To
is
me,
a
it's as
container.
simple as this. Does air have mass? And if air has mass, then I would just go, okay, like bouncing balls, which also have mass, if I shook them up, what would happen? And you go, well, 99% of them would be right on the ground, but there would be the odd bouncy ball very, very high up in the sky. That's what I expect if they've got mass and they follow that vector of down. So if that's happening to air, that's what the container is. If that's the bending and warping of space-time, or it could be some electromagnetic effect, it could be something like magnetism, I don't fucking know. But if there is a force that makes bouncy balls fall down, isn't there also probably going to be a force that brings air down?
I gotta say, I take umbrage with this. Like, I always looked at it like the whole question of there has to be a force. Oh, da da da. Like, it's almost like answering a question that nobody asked. That we've, like the idea that things fall down. Like, there is no like, and then you get like people arguing about, well, we need to have momentum if we're gonna have this, and we're gonna, and like all of this theatrics. When in like reality, I really do think like just the density of something could, that's sufficient enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, why isn't that sufficient enough? I don't understand like why there has, and if maybe I'm misunderstood, like What would be the relevance of needing a force for that?
Not even you need it. It's just if it's there. Like, if it's there, then it would create that gradient. If it wasn't there, you could still have the gradient for some other reason, I guess.
But the gradient could be explained away by the sun. By
Gradient
heat.
could be explained away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
sure.
heat-
But that's the thing. I'm saying I don't care why the gradient's there. It's just if the gradient does that, would the gradient create a container? And you go, well, yeah, obviously, because if 99% is at sea level, if you can go for a walk up a hill and have it drop significantly, right, or ride a motorbike up a mountain. Anybody's ever done that with, particularly with, like, you don't even need an open face helmet. Or even in a car, right? Your ears will pop.
But you could also just say the higher density air stays lower. And like it's just like
Anything
oil
that causes that will create a container. Is containing air down at the bottom, right? Sure, it's not a hard containment like a propane tank.
Well, that's what I beg to differ.
Okay.
Like in the sense that, like, you know, what is it like? Because I've envisioned kind of the dome. I love my little Zen koan of like you live on a flat, like an infinite plane contained by a celestial sphere, kind of a thing. Where like this idea that you have, and I've just thought about it, like this idea that you have this. Imagine like just like the ripple of the mountains or something above you, except it's the dome, and it extends on. You know what I mean? And like this idea that it has topography too. Like, and maybe that creates air pressure. The airflow running off of the, you know what I mean? The top of the fucking whatever creates turbulence in the airflow, which we perceive as air pressure, which we could reproduce that. Like, that's what amazes me is like the idea that we're so satisfied with gravity because we can reproduce a lot of this other shit. Whereas we can't reproduce gravity because, well, the Earth's not, but, you know, well, the Earth, you know, like we can prove that we don't need a container because we have the Earth. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, but I think that's trying to prove negatives again. Like Electric said a moment ago, can you prove there isn't a container? It's like, well, no, because anything I try to do where I say, okay, a physical container, such as a propane tank, should bounce things, right? That's what it's doing to the molecules. Hence, if I sent sound waves, radio waves, anything upwards, I should be able to Doppler, you know, bounce, radar bounce, and get the height of it. And we don't. When we shoot radars up into the sky, we get nothing, 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 and then you wave it past the moon, and it goes ping, and it takes like 3 seconds or whatever it takes.
The conditions of the gradient is indicative of containment. That's why I asked you, where's your evidence of there being no containment? Because there's evidence of containment because we have air pressure.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There is some sort of thing that is behaving like a force that is keeping more air down. Here's the reason it shouldn't be a physical container. If it's a physical container, one of two things I think should be happening. Either it should be staying completely even pressure all the way to the container wall, or it should get to higher pressure as it gets to the container wall, because that's where you've got molecules bouncing back in the other direction. They bounce off the wall and come back. So you should have a high density zone near where the container is doing its containing, if anything. Right? Whereas we've got the opposite. We've got the container at the bottom, which is the ocean, and then upwards, it's tapering off. So as we go up,
but we could do that.
Number gets to zero pressure. When there are zero molecules, there is zero. The container rule is now broken because you say gas pressure requires a container, but zero molecules is zero pressure.
But a terrarium can do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can do it with a container, but that's not the question. We all agree we can do it with a physical barrier. We're saying could
like all roads lead to this
barrier.
Well, I wonder, like, we're talking how much, you know, how much distance do we need? Like, I was thinking, was I with you doing the thought? I don't know, forget. But like, you know, imagine an apartment, you know what I mean? 600 square feet with like, you know, but it goes fucking like 50 miles up, you know? Like, you know, you'd be able to detect the gradient, you know? And it's like, I wonder, like, because I forget where that comes from. Fuck, I thought that was you for 1 second.
Well, if
gas
is getting created at the ground level, most of the gas is getting created there, then why wouldn't the gas pressure be higher at the ground level?
Fine, but then you don't need a container. You could be losing gas into a vacuum, but you keep getting more and more at the bottom. So you maintain a thing, again, still don't need a container.
Right, but in the face of a
because
terrarium,
exactly the reason you're saying, paraplegic, if it's coming out of the ground, you're going to have a high density zone. That might not be contained. It's just a high density zone, and it's going to take some time to push
near
upwards.
the top where stuff isn't being contained.
Bingos, but you've now disproven the rule for a container because you've shown a differential without containment.
Well, I'm saying the issue is
one of the worst.
The issue is we can create this on a microcosm with a terrarium. That we're led to just believe us on the other side of this.
No, you don't understand. What you can do with a terrarium and container is not under contention, right? It's a common like flaw where you say there's a test for it in psychology where you say every card that has an even number on the back will have a picture of a king on the other side. And then that's the rule you've got to test. And then you show people cards and you show them either way up, and some show kings and some show a 4 and a 6 and a 3 and a 2. And it says, which of these cards should you turn over to test this rule? And people have a habit of getting the card that's got a king and turning it over to see if it's got an even number on the other side. But they're forgetting that's not in contention. We are not arguing about every card with a king on the back has an even number on the other side. What we are saying is the one with the even number have a king on the back. So what I'm saying in the relativity relationship here is there's no point asking the question about a contained environment because we all agree that a physical container can do this. So relitigating that point is missing the fact that we're really questioning whether you can have.
Well, that's our point. We're relitigating. Hold on. We're relitigating it and saying like, hey, this nonsense that you guys are talking about, that we can't replicate that without going like up into outer space or some shit. And this is where we can replicate this. So why we're choosing the other side of it, other than space travel would be your only, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
caveat.
that's why it gets brought up when we're trying to decide which dynamic explanation is more viable. The one that we can physically demonstrate easily in a lab is always going to be more viable than the one that's just purely theoretical.
Purely speculative that gas attracts to a gigantic ball. Like you're trying to criticize like the model that you can bring to a scale.
Well, then also,
like he said, there's a microcosm that demonstrates this type of density. You, on the other hand, cannot demonstrate your type of density. You understand that?
My issue is that it becomes political when it gets to these space programs. That's when it becomes political, and that's what gets me. Where it's like, yo, we're getting we don't trust politicians, but except about fucking our cosmology, because it's like it's literally the only proof that is that's available is that we go to space. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Well, I talked to Jesus. What the fuck? You know, it's literally like, and then we're forced to be like, we're retarded for questioning. It's literally like a fucking cult, dude. It's like fucking a cult, bro. Like, we can fucking replicate this with a terrarium. It's really, like, that's the easiest, most obvious answer for this. Except for the fact that we might have space travel, and holy shit, we went to the moon, so we definitely have space travel, and it's not that big of a deal. We go to the moon all the time. You know what I mean? It's so weird, dude. It's fucking weird.
So how would we test it? Because I'm saying looking for examples of containment is not testing it. And you're saying the space program is the only thing you're ever going to
you're right, though. It doesn't need to be tested. It doesn't need to be tested.
You can hear me, so please, you guys are coming.
Sorry, but go ahead.
The only thing you'll ever be able to demonstrate is that horizontal gradient in relation to a horizontal plane. That's the only reference frame you're going to have when you try to pretend you're measuring a curving gradient. You never did. Everything is based on your
how could I demonstrate that?
That gradient is based on a horizontal plane every time. So you don't have an observation of your plane.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, nobody does, right? If the flat Earth idea is I must test it myself, why do you ask me what I've tested? Oh, that's not my rule. And if I had tested something, it still would be meaningless to you because your rule is I've got to test it. So if your rule is I've got to test it, go fucking test it. But why do you keep asking me about these weird things you dreamt up and gone, why haven't you done this $100,000 pointless experiment that wouldn't show shit? Go do it. Don't ask me what I've got. I got nothing.
It's done every time. The only thing that's ever been measured is
the way that you would
trust my measurements. Your whole thing is Ruhuf's done measurements, Jesse's done measurements. You don't trust them. Why ask? Why do you demand?
The way that you would test your model, you would need a gradient, right, of like at least sea level or close to sea level.
Is what I'm asking.
Hold on, dude. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, bro. No, you have to. The burden of proof is on you. We've already tested our yes, dude. All
I'm
pressurized
not proving
systems
it.
are
I'm
under.
not proving it.
Hold on,
You're
dude.
trying to figure it out.
Yo, shut up. All
All right.
pressurized systems are under containment, right? Every single one. Right? Now you have to and when you have a propane tank, there's a gradient in that propane. As soon as you puncture the propane tank, what happens to the gradient? Bye gradient. No more
Yeah, I've heard this
gradient.
before. We've
Okay, well
litigated it. We
hold
don't need
on.
to
This
go
is how
back to
you.
it.
So now we've tested we have our proof of concept. Now the burden of proof is on you to test your model, and don't beg the question, right? So you have to now
What did I
use
say about the
some type
propane
of
tanks, though?
hold on, bro. Wait. You have to have some type of experiment where you have pressure like 14 psi at sea level, right? All the way to nothing, tapering off to nothing without a container. That's what you would need.
Yeah, you'd have to prove mass attracts mass, and then you'd have to demonstrate that mass
What was my
attracting
point?
mass acting as a container with
But
sustained
what was my
gas
point?
pressure in an atmosphere, just like we can do
I
with the
only made 2
terrarium.
points.
No, but Eggs wasn't
My,
really trying to prove anything. That was the point
exactly.
of what Eggs
I'm
was
just saying
saying.
2 things. One is stop looking at the hits. You keep looking at the hit where you go, I've got a propane tank, but that is not under contention. Nobody disagrees with that. So continually looking at white swans won't tell you shit about the existence of black ones. Stop
Yeah,
looking.
I already explained, dude. I already explained what you need. So not only that, no, because dude, you're
So why'd you go
completely
back to
hand waving,
propane tanks?
dismissing what I said. You didn't even respond to what I said. I asked you a question. You didn't even respond. You deflected. Dude, listen, bro. We can actually demonstrate a pressure gradient to nothing under containment, literally to like the vacuum of space under containment. You can't do what your model says to be doing up there. You can't actually demonstrate that. That's not our
Fine, I
problem. It's
agree.
not my.
I agree. I
It's
can't
not
show
our
it to you.
problem that your model is unfalsifiable.
You're still
You're
missing the
trying
point.
to
Let me
blame
clarify the
us
point.
for
One is
not
you say,
believing your model. Go ahead.
but my point is you say I've got a demonstration of what I'm saying, but what you're saying isn't being disagreed with by anybody. So you're kind of like going, oh, my main point in this argument is that the sky's blue. And I'm like, cool. Sometimes
Wrong.
it's not, right? Like,
Wrong.
and then you
Wrong.
keep going back to
No,
look
no,
at
no.
this photo of the blue
Lion, he's
sky.
right.
That's rhetoric.
I'm
No,
absolutely
right,
because he's
Lion.
using
You're not
using
getting
the
point,
gradient.
Lion.
No, you keep using the
No.
gradient.
You're not
He
getting it,
keep
bro.
using the gradient as evidence for his model, dude. Just because
No, no,
there's
no,
a
no, no.
gradient that tapers off to nothing in your model doesn't justify a containless system.
Sure.
Isn't
Right,
that
you
an
could-
infinite regress or something like that? It's like
Well-
it's a non-zero type thing. Basically, if they can calculate numbers that just go on forever, then that's
No, it's just the idea of like it's
my
like
point
arguing
is-
about the
yeah.
temperature. Hold on, it's just like arguing
go
about the temperature the water boils. It's like we know that, and that's what that's kind of what he's saying is that we do agree, and and this isn't combative, guys. Like like the idea is like that. Like what we're saying is, and like I think Eggs is he'll be a flat earther soon enough. And I just think that because what we're proposing is that it sucks that the only like you said, like what experiment would we do? Lion made a good point. You'd send the hot air balloon or whatever it is to go test the gradient up until a certain point, but we can't. It's very hard for us to do. We all agree with that. Everybody knows that.
It's not what
But,
I said, dude. You're not even listening. You're in left field, dude. That's not what
I get
I
what
said.
you're
Nothing about
saying.
an air.
I get
Am
what
I-
you're saying, Lion. Do you understand my overall point? Because I strongly feel you're missing it.
Yeah, you
You're
keep
wrong.
pointing
So-
to the
Just
gradient
noise,
like
not
all the other
clarity.
globers. Oh, there's gradient. You don't need. All you need is gravity. That's begging the question. That's the same system right now
that's not
that
my
we're
point.
questing. Right?
That's not
You
my
got.
point.
You keep pointing to it. Oh, look,
That's
there's a
not my
gradient.
point, Lion. There's
That's
no
what you
point
were saying
continuing-
earlier. That's your only defense. What's your defense then?
Lion, there's no point arguing against somebody if you don't know what they think. So once somebody says no, that's not what I think, you need to be like, hold on the brakes. I need to ask questions. My point is just about the logic of still looking at tanks when tanks aren't under contention, right? And then on the second point it is, unless I'm wrong about you, my understanding of your epistemology is one must test this. One cannot take another expert's word for it. One can't just hear some scientist or some NASA person who claims they've gone to space. We must do it ourselves, such that Jesse and Ruhif and other people in the community have personally gone and done things. And everybody who's a flat earther in this room necessarily has to reject their findings. So me doing it is irrelevant. That's my point. So you saying, hey, you've got to show this, you've got to prove that. I don't have to do shit. I just think the Earth's a sphere. I don't have to prove it to you. What I'm saying is, if you're curious about it, how would you test it? You're saying I can test a propane tank, and I'm like, stop looking at propane tanks. Where would you look if you wanted to find a black swan? How would you do it? If you must do it yourself, I think, number one, stop asking me. And number two, let's have a discussion about what you figuring this out for yourself might look like.
Black swan though would be what? It would be gravity acting as a container in a lab setting though.
Yeah, so it could be
I
something
already,
like
dude, I already
what I might
explained how
look
you would
for.
test it, dude. It's like, bro, you're not listening. I don't know if you're not listening. Maybe I'm talking too fast. All you need to do is outside, right? Demonstrate what you think is happening at a smaller scale, right?
When you say
So
how you would test
so
it,
you
who
would
do you
need it.
mean you?
You would need it.
You're circling the
you?
drain, not the point.
Did he get muted? Who's the you when you say you would need a? He did. Sorry, I'll unmute you. You didn't need to mute for that. When you're saying you would need a,
bro, you didn't even let me finish, dude. You didn't even let me finish.
I know, sorry.
Start interrupting. Again, this is what you would need to test it. Listen, you would have in the open air outside.
You're drowning out the inquiry here.
With no containment. All you need is a gradient tapering off to almost nothing, to 0 psi outside. That's how if you could do.
You're a gravity well, pulling focus away.
What are you doing, Sage?
Be some type of proof of concept, even though it's not technically electromagnetism that's leading to the gradient in your model. If you could have demonstrated in any possible way, dude, I would give it would be something.
When you say you, do you mean me? Eggshells need to go do that?
No, dude, your side, collective.
Then anybody, if you're saying anybody on the Globus side needs to do it, you've misunderstood my point entirely. Could you try and steel man the last point I made before you said that? Because I'm now certain you are missing my point. It's not actually about the container. It is the first hint. It's the container is the context, but what I'm actually saying to you is about your own epistemology and how you decide things for yourself and who should be doing this test. And if you're still asking a Glober to do it, then it's showed you've either rejected my last point but haven't told me why and have gone back to doing the same thing, or haven't understood my last point.
You know what, though? I will say this.
You need to
he is saying this, X, is that like colloquially up in, around these parts, when someone says, what you got to do is, it's like, imagine it like what one would do is.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. If I say what you've got to do is show me a link where X was claiming Y.
Yeah, something happened.
If my epistemology
defending this finally.
If my epistemology, let's say on this route,
argument,
right?
That you can have containment. Containment.
Are you talking to us, or is this? I'm only hearing like every third word, Electric.
Like if you're going to interrupt somebody, have a better mic.
Yeah, like just jump in there, bro. Like I'm fine with being interrupted. I do it a lot. My point is like if I do accept evidence from other people, right? If I say show me a link for that, the only reason I would do that is if when they produce that link, there is a good chance I would accept it. But if my epistemology was like I don't trust Wikipedia, for example, it would be insane for me during conversations to continually demand Wikipedia articles because you're going to produce them and I'm going to go, anybody can edit Wikipedia. This is bullshit. So why would I keep asking for Wikipedia pages? That's my point. When the flat earther comes and says you need to show X, it's fine to do that, provided you are going to accept X when it happens. But if you've got 100% hit rate of rejecting X, right? Ruhif's, all of Jesse's, even the final experiment, right? If you're rejecting outside sources because we didn't do that test ourselves, and the only way you can know things is by doing tests yourselves, why do you keep asking for other people to do tests? Surely you would do two things. You would never ask another person for another test unless you wanted to just know their methodology so you could copy it perhaps. And you would do a lot of fucking tests. But in this realm, what is happening with Electric is exactly the opposite. He does 0 personal tests and can only know things through personal tests. And he spends all this time asking for somebody else to give him a test.
Yeah, it's kind of a rhetorical. It's a rhetorical question because we know it can't be demonstrated in a lab, right? So that's why we're asking.
Bingo. Exactly. I'm asking for something that I know and believe to be impossible so that I can say, look at how impossible and wrong this is. So it's not an honest way to
Right, in comparison to the completely viable explanation that we put forth, right? A physical container.
Sure, but that's not under contention.
We're just highlighting the, dichotomy there.
Right. And if that was under contention, if the Glober side necessitated that containers didn't contain, it would be a valid point to discuss.
Well, no, the issue, Eggs, the pertinent point is that what we're saying is that your only proof that we are almost heretical to disbelieve is like it goes into the realm of, well, we went to the moon, therefore we know there's no container. And that's our point, is the hypocrisy of it. Because granted, like, you're not wrong, and I think your point is more to the idea of like, why are you flat earthers asking a bunch of Glovers, like, or even better yet, why aren't you being genuine enough to try this shit out to prove the globe so that it can be falsified, right?
Yeah. Get
Because
your
like we
lasers, get your
shouldn't go
cameras,
into
get your
this. I mean,
balloons.
like, I didn't go into this looking at flat. Like, honestly, like, I got like a camera when I first fucking saw the idea that you could see far, and I remember seeing buildings growing up, etc. So I got a camera. I had to go fucking look. You know what I
Excellent.
mean? Like, and they're like, and I was like, I have to fucking see. Like, and I'm not, I'm studying. I used to be into, you know what I mean, all about the globe. Like, I used to all about be, kind of about like how to orient yourself on the earth, out in the woods, kind of shit. And so I was always like learning globe shit. And so I wasn't biased. I was just like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, it's like 8 inches per mile square argument comes up. And now there's a discrepancy. So now you're like, well, wait a minute, this could be explained by refraction. Now there's alternative explanations. And so I think, like, yeah, like, and this is where I think I thought I was right in the sense that you would get the air pressure. Like, if we went into this as like trying to prove the globe, you would test the air pressure at the fucking sea level, send your balloon up, mark the gradient, and hope that you would maybe fix your balloon so that it could go higher than ever before. You know what I mean? And be able to detect, that would be the move, right? What's up?
Dwayne Kellum got a balloon up really high into vacuum.
Well, he's Jewish or something, isn't he?
How could you do that? I don't understand. The air's got to hold it up.
I know, right? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he got it up to rough vacuum level.
Wow, that is not where the.
I remember hearing that name for,
Hold on,
for
can
a
you
while.
hear me, Issa?
Yeah, go on, brother.
Sorry, man. I definitely tried to get. That's not where anybody claims the containment. Like, you guys are, 100. They're so funny, right? No, go higher. You can't go higher.
If
turns out that it turns out
the claim
that altitude. It turns out the relative density. You can't go higher. Nobody can bring balloons higher than that. So you have rockets. You have to have rocket launch capabilities. Launch them out, and the only people. Hold on me. I wasn't finished. I waited. Can you wait like I did? The only people that are claiming to go to the only people.
Yeah, I'm not either.
You're cutting out like every third word is just dropped.
The problem is air pressure, is that you think that there's air pressure next to a vacuum somehow. That's the problem. And the high altitude balloons show that's not a problem. Because
no, that's not. That's nobody's argument, dude. Wrong. We know it tapers off. No, listen, we'll grant you the gradient. There's no problem. You guys keep pointing to the gradient as evidence of no containment, dude. And I'm trying to show you, bro, we have gradients within containment. In the propane tank, there's not only 2 different modalities of the same propane, dude. We have liquid propane and gas propane, right? That's a gradient right there. If you had a barometric pressure sensor from the bottom of the container to the top, you would have a gradient. And the taller that container, the greater the gradient.
You're getting it wrong though. So
no, I'm not. I'm not
letting you know that what you're saying is.
Hey, Omni, spare us. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. I know.
Fucking hell, man. Jesus, like talking to fucking North about Palestine or some shit. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm not going to talk about Palestine.
I know, but you're so.
That's not going to be a serious conversation.
Oh my God.
So every air container in every gas container on Earth has a gradient because that gradient is caused by gravity. Okay, so you never get around that. That's
I know that.
Problem.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not denying the gradient. So stop pointing to the gradient as evidence, right? Mutually exclusive evidence that there's no container when we have gradients inside containers.
I'll wait. So the gradient is irrespective of the container. When we are
just gonna abandon all logic.
You're so nuts. Sorry, no. Sorry. In your house or outside.
You're a fucking idiot, dude. You're a fucking idiot. Seriously.
Isa, I'm not an idiot. Okay, you realize that what I'm saying is true. You just don't like it. So when you go out in your front yard, there is a gradient out there. right in front of your front yard. You know, in your driveway, there's a gradient from your feet
Because we
to
live in
above your head. You can test it
Oh,
with
that's
your
funny joke.
smartphone
I love
barometer.
Omni jokes. We
You know
love
it's
Omni
true,
jokes.
Issa. You just don't understand it.
that's proof of
Yeah,
a container.
That's the funniest part of the
that's
joke.
Let's try to
bro.
give everyone a
We
chance
know
to speak.
again. We
Omnivore,
know
can you
there's a
pause for a
gradient.
moment?
We know there's a gradient outside, Omni, right? But without begging the question, without using the same system in question, right? Your model, can you demonstrate that without a containment, without a container?
We demonstrate it every day. Every day you go outside, that gradient is there, and there is no container.
Without
That's begging the
without
question.
begging the question, please, for the love of God,
It's
don't
not
beg the
begging
question.
question.
Don't
That's not
use
how
the
begging
system.
question works.
Don't use a system in
That's
question.
not how begging the question works. Okay, you don't understand begging the question. I'm sorry.
Here we go again. The you don't understand card. Yeah.
May I try to ask my question again? So you guys brought up Dwayne
The
Kelly.
reason
You
it's
know, you
not
said
begging the question is
Wow.
because
Let Electric speak.
It's
it's
literally
fine.
begging the
Omni needs to finish.
I wanted to
He thinks he
respond to
should.
Lion. Obviously, that's not gonna
You're
But keep telling
puncturing
us
the
that we don't
conversation's air.
understand the easiest thing to understand.
It is not the best audio, Electa. I think we're trying to work with you, but it's tough.
Yeah, okay.
Eggs, you need an interactive screen, dude. That shit's so cool.
I don't know. Maybe did I just fix it?
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, good job. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, I can explain why it's not begging the question if you want me to, Lion.
Get muted.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason it's not begging the question is because when we go outside, we experience a gradient. That gradient is demonstrable in or outside of any container. It is a consistent gradient amongst all air. Now, you can change it by artificially pressurizing things or pumping the air out of a vacuum chamber. But that gradient, anytime you have ambient pressure, you will have that same barometric pressure gradient in my yard, in your yard, inside your house, outside your house, all of that. It's not begging the question because we don't detect any container. You just have to assume there's a container, and you say the fact that you can't demonstrate this some other gradient in a lab, which we demonstrate the barometric gradient in the lab every day, the fact that you can't demonstrate some other gradient means it's not.
You're compressing the conversation too tightly.
Whoa! Did ChatGPT choose
Thank
when
you,
I
Sage.
muted?
Okay,
You're
you're
so
way
You're
off.
begging the
base,
question
Sage.
still, though.
He'll learn.
Direct.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
That was hilarious, dude. I'm listening, Omni.
Crux.
We were all thinking
Assumption of a container.
You just keep filibustering, right? Because you're not addressing the logic, right?
Yes,
The
I am
reason it's
addressing
begging the question because you're using the same system in question.
not
Right?
begging the question.
Right now, we're questioning your system, your model. You keep pointing to the outside air, the fact that there's a gradient outside that you can measure with a barometric pressure sensor, that therefore there's no container.
No, hang on.
What is the evidence that there's no container without begging the question? Try again.
Because there is no evidence of a container. That's the problem. The problem is that you're assuming there must be a container for some reason.
You're claiming
There's no evidence for it. Do you see a
I have-
container? Can you
Claiming there's
detect a
no
container?
container
Yep.
Can
because
you
they
bounce
can't
something off the
provide any
container? Can you
kind.
conjecture what the container would be made of, Lion?
What do you?
Can I give the evidence?
Mainstream already concedes there's a container. Even Eggshells agrees there's a container.
Yeah, let me give the evidence.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm
did you
back.
guys hear the music?
I'm talking about the fact that we detect no container.
What
Oh,
mainstream consensus is
Hold on,
that gas
I've been
pressure,
waiting to say
sustained
this.
gas pressure requires a container.
It does not. That's a misunderstanding, right?
Then why is the dynamic explanation given that it's gravity acting as a container? What is that? Where does
Yeah.
that come from?
Yeah.
That comes from physics. It comes from observation. It comes from the barometric pressure formula. I mean, where do you want it to come
Well,
from?
according to your logic, they would be wrong because there is no container.
No, that's not true. There's no
So there is a container.
There's no physical container. There's no dome.
Okay. So there is a container.
There is. So the
non-physical
gradient
container.
we see is because of gravity.
Right. So which containment is more viable? The one that we can easily demonstrate in a lab with a terrarium, or the one that's just purely theoretical?
So that
I'm
okay.
gonna
So
go with the one we can easily demonstrate.
that's almost smart. Okay. So first off, we demonstrate this gradient, the barometric gradient, in any system that is exposed to ambient pressure. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
we
almost
demonstrate
not
it in the
retarded,
lab,
Omni.
we demonstrate it in your house, we demonstrate it out in your front yard. That's demonstrated everywhere. So that your objection doesn't make any sense.
Has nothing to do with vacuum.
Yeah, it's almost not retarded, Omni. Try again.
So yeah, you can just complain that you can't. You can complain you can't demonstrate some weird gravitational gradient in the lab, except for the fact that it's already happening. It's already testable. It's happening in front of you right now. You could go get your smartphone and test it this minute.
When you say we can argue that we can't demonstrate in the lab, you mean we
No,
can't
we do
demonstrate in the lab? No,
So
we can't.
make your office, say your office or your bedroom or your mother's basement or wherever you are, call that a lab. Put on a lab coat if you have to. And then take your cell phone and put it on the floor and take a barometric pressure reading and hold it up to the ceiling and take a better barometric pressure reading. And you'll notice that there is no invisible barrier between your floor and your ceiling, and yet the pressure is different. You're demonstrating it in a lab.
It's not sustained gas pressure like an atmosphere. Like
It is.
It's not analogous. No, a
No, it's
terrarium is analogous, right? It's an atmosphere, sustained gas pressure. It's what we experience here, right?
You're breathing it right now. It is the atmosphere. I'm sorry, that doesn't
That's
work.
proof of the container, then.
No, it's not evidence of a container.
You just agreed it is proof of the container.
It's not. So do you have any evidence of the container?
You just claimed the container was gravity.
Yes, the container. Look.
Yeah, the evidence is there, pressure.
If you agree that gravity is doing this, we have no problem. We have
I just think it's theoretical. It's not viable because we can't demonstrate in a lab, right? We can.
How long do I gotta wait to address this?
So let me get this straight. So you want to just a minute.
There are maybe a few too many people speaking. Maybe
I've been waiting for like 10 minutes to address something Omnivore said.
I just want to make that we're clear that Locksmith says, you say there's no container. I say there's gravity. I say, yes, okay, I agree with your gravity. You say, no, there's no gravity. There must be a container. You're just dodging back and forth, Locksmith. That's not.
I didn't say that. That wasn't really a good summary of what I was saying.
What you said, yes.
No, I was saying, right? You agree there's a container. You claim it's gravity, right? You can't demonstrate gravity acting as a container, sustaining gas pressure like an atmosphere in a lab. We can easily demonstrate that with a terrarium, right? Physical containment.
What makes you think
gas pressure in atmosphere?
So, what makes you think we don't demonstrate that in a lab? What makes you think that? Who told you that?
Because we can't. You can't.
No, I didn't say that. I said we demonstrate in the lab every day. Every day you go into your lab. There's different gas pressure at the floor than at the ceiling. That's demonstrated.
You're just begging the question. I can just say every day you go in the lab, you're proving my container theory.
No, you can't. Because what's your evidence? What's your evidence for that container? Do you see it?
My evidence is it's more viable, right? Because we can demonstrate it, we can replicate it.
Oh, you can't. No, you can't.
In the lab.
No, you can't.
We can't do that.
No, you can't. So
you can't make a physical container sustaining gas pressure, like create atmospheric like effect.
How long do I gotta fucking wait, Locksmith? God damn it. Stop giving him more
until he's done asking fake questions. That's how long. So you're gonna keep waiting.
No, I've been waiting like a long ass time. Omnivore keeps stalling.
The reason you can't demonstrate it in a lab, Locksmith, is that you can't demonstrate the pressure gradient of the terrestrial barometric pressure gradient without a gravitational field. You can't do that. You can't demonstrate that gradient. You can artificially increase pressure in a lab or decrease pressure. You can have a vacuum chamber in a lab. But what you cannot do is demonstrate a gradient that is different from the gravitational gradient.
All right, you ready? You ready, Omnivore?
As far as gravitational containment can be demonstrated, right?
Yeah, yes, it is demonstrated. It's demonstrated.
No, it's not. Your gravitational model is not. Your gravitational model is not represented in reality yet. You guys have not shown the scale. Stop interrupting me.
All around you.
the scale that you would have to you have to fit like curvature and the attraction to the center of a ball. You guys have never done anything of the sort. Okay, so what you claim is causing your gravitational gradient, you think it's attraction towards the center of mass. It could easily be something else, which is already demonstrated. And nobody's claiming that there's a solid layer of containment causing the gradient. That's no one's claim. What would be causing the gradient is something similar to your gravitational model. It's just not attraction towards the center of a ball. It's just a relative density model, like what you can demonstrate in reality. Duh. Like, it's such a simple concept. And dude, Elon Musk is out there demonstrating the containment with his rockets. He goes up to 200 miles and he hits a freaking water barrier. So there's your evidence of containment right there. Everything SpaceX does.
Yeah, so you can't demonstrate gravity acting as a container in a lab. It hinges on an unfalsifiable claim of mass attracting mass, and you can't demonstrate that either.
Real quick, let me get in.
None of that was true, Locksmith.
Yo,
That was
so
all true.
what Electric is saying is that when you look at pressure gradients, when you look at like the density tower, what you have is vertical, horizontal layers, bro. Horizontal gradients. Those gradients aren't curving. You have to presuppose that they're curving.
Oh,
around the ball.
Why do I have to presuppose that?
And another thing is, dude, when we puncture a tank that has a gradient, what happens to the gradient? It disappears.
Wait. Whoa, hold on now. You're misusing the word. So first off, we don't presuppose that those towers are curving. Okay? That's not any part of the requirement for a density tower. But when we take the gravity tower into the vomit comet in free fall, we can see that when you're in free fall, the density separation doesn't happen. That's evidence for gravity right there. Unfortunately,
but hold on, we're not even right now.
Let me finish that was just a good point. Let me finish the other question.
Okay.
So we don't presuppose that it's curving. Now, if you puncture something that is high pressure, it will normalize pressure. That's not a gradient. The gradient that we're talking about is a stable gradient, stable enough that we can use it as an altimeter, right? And you know what I mean by using the gradient, using the air pressure as an altimeter, right, Lion? So it means you can use it to get a good fix on how high you are above sea level. So that's not what happens with this punctured container. That's the air pressure next to a vacuum argument that is debunked by things like Dwayne Kellum that people were just disavowing 2 minutes ago, right? No, that's not what we're talking about. But that's just what you're referring to.
Omni, we're not even disagreeing with you when it comes to the force. Maybe some flat earthers disagree with the downward bias, that there's a downward bias, there's a vertical vector, right? That elements are organized according to what? Their density, right? So we're not denying buoyancy and density right now. We're not talking about that. We're talking about specifically what's required to even start developing a gradient, right? You need a container.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
when you puncture the container, that gradient disappears. The liquid propane disappears. The liquid propane becomes gas. The gradient goes away, dude.
Yeah, that's not a stupid thing to say, but it's not right. It's not correct. So first off, atmosphere or water, any fluid you like, okay, the pressure is higher at the bottom, the higher, closer to the center of the earth that you get than above it, right? So that's not density. Just a minute. That's not density and buoyancy.
Buoyancy.
It's not. No, it's not. All of the air is the same density. There's just less of it. It's not like the air that's at Mount Everest is somehow, there's less air, so the air density is less, but the atoms, the mix is still about the same as it is at sea level.
But Omni, we're not denying the phenomena of gravitation, of things that to fall down to the ground. That's a separate topic. That's a separate factor.
Listen to this, though.
Now, the system that we exist in is irreducibly complex. It requires both a container and gravity and gravitation, that downward vector that organizes the elements according to their gradient.
First off, that's not what irreducible complexity means, right? That's a biological argument that's entirely unrelated. Secondly,
the mix of gases at the top of Mount Everest, which is about 70% of the atmosphere is gone, is the same mix of gases at sea level. Okay, I need you to understand that. It's not a density and gradient and a density and buoyancy thing, because the mix is the same. That's not, and the density changes because there's less gas, less of all the gases in about the same relationship. So that gradient doesn't exist because of your density and buoyancy. That's not what's creating it. You can test this.
The problem is that you have to like completely forgot that you can reinterpret what's happening. Like it's you pretend that you can't have all your like forces of attraction be like along a horizontal plane. You act like that type of physics doesn't exist, but it does.
Along a horizontal plane, that's what the Cavendish experiment shows, as far as I'm aware. I don't know what you mean.
Like you could have, like what you're calling a force of attraction towards the center of mass.
Yeah.
Like all you're truly observing with gravity is from your local reference frame, right? In your reference frame, you have vertical and horizontal. That's it. You don't have, your curved gradient like you're proclaiming.
I don't know what you think those words mean.
It means that the only time you're ever trying to measure the gradient, you're strictly treating it as a horizontal plane. There is no evidence of curvature. There's no evidence of attraction to a ball.
There is plenty of evidence of curvature.
Oh, there's evidence of attraction towards a ball.
So
Incorrect.
let me ask you something. Well, you're not going to agree with this, but because it's a tough question if you don't understand refraction. But the reason why, for example, refraction of stars happens the way it happens, or refraction of things from a distance, is because there is a curved gradient around the Earth that the light is traveling through. That's why refraction doesn't work the way you think it does. But that's a complicated issue that we would have to work through a bit at a time.
Yeah,
the fact is we don't require that the gradient be curved. It just is. But I don't see how that's a requirement for any of this.
You're saying that you don't have to prove that gravity is towards the center of a ball, when literally in quantum mechanics, all these apparent attraction and repulsion is due to a boundary. It's like a line. Like the geometry is literally a boundary surface.
So can you cite
there is no point of attraction.
Can you cite
anywhere?
Can you cite this quantum mechanics? Can you show me a citation for that?
Oh, can you show me gas molecules attracting towards each other's center of mass?
Yes.
Because
yes.
Oh, let's do it. Go.
The barometric pressure formula. Yes. That's what the barometric pressure formula shows. I'll put it in the chat.
It doesn't attract towards the center of mass. It's an electrochemical fusion, which is just a boundary surface. It's a gain of loss of electrons at the boundary. It's not a point of attraction towards the center.
If I go from the boundary at sea level, and then I go to the boundary at the bottom of Death Valley, I see that the air becomes denser, right?
Dude, you disagreed with me? Okay then.
Yeah, so yes, although the ground is a barrier, generally speaking, the fact is that the lower you go, the denser the air gets. As you get towards the center of the Earth, it becomes denser and denser. Yes, that's exactly what it shows.
You brought up Dwayne Kellum. You said, oh, this guy brought his balloon to 120,000 feet. That's evidence that there's no containment. And then you say that's evidence there's no containment. Guess what, dude?
No. Wait.
Until you can cross that altitude, you can't claim that you've done proper experimentation to make a claim like that. You can't claim that. Do you understand?
The air is produced at the ground level.
No, that's nonsense. So first off, if you want to use the correct word, you should use exchanged. But secondly, no, that doesn't work. There is not sufficient air being produced at the ground in your driveway to increase the density. Right?
How do you not hear me?
If I'm in a giant shopping mall,
advantage of something else?
Let me address this quantum eraser bullshit for a second. All right, nobody should.
You can't address anything I said. I see that.
Nobody should be doing that. All right, so let's put a stop to that. If I'm in a giant shopping mall and I see that there's high gas pressure at the floor of the shopping mall, Do you think that the concrete is producing gas? Stormfire? That's you.
Why are you avoiding everything being said to you?
It's coming from the biological life that's down here.
So that's in the
Omnivore, that
bottom
was
of
the
a
most
shopping
retarded
mall.
question I've ever heard.
And the bottom of a shopping mall, the cement floor of the shopping
This is
mall.
just retarded, man. This is really bad.
I'm sorry you don't understand it, Block.
Try something else, bud. Try something
I'm
else.
sorry you don't understand it. Look, friends don't let friends
No.
repeat quantum mechanics.
Your analogy about a shopping
We
mall.
don't live in a shopping mall with a freaking.
It doesn't matter. This argument, the argument is that. Oh, hold on.
Hey guys,
He's lost
there's
the plot.
too many people. Listen to
get
the
in.
hive mind. There's 5 of them. No model,
He's
but
lost
they're
the plot.
all over speaking each other. All 5
Yeah,
of
this
them.
is not coherent. Thank you, Gabe.
We're in the basement of a shopping mall now. All right, now what?
Yeah, because if you think that quote unquote gas is produced at the ground and you're gonna quote quantum eraser bullshit, then you need to figure out how you think that the cement floor is producing gas. It's not. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
All right, how is oxygen produced on Earth's surface?
So oxygen is exchanged mostly in the oceans, but with plankton and surface algae. So that's a complex question. But
How else
mostly
is
in the ocean. So
what's in the ocean? What's in the ocean causing that?
The same pressure where there is no plankton and
You're
no
avoiding me. Oh, I love when you run away. What in the ocean is causing the converting of the?
Don't stop quoting quantum eraser.
Not listening. Stop not listening. What in the ocean is causing that to convert to oxygen? What is it? It's the plant life. Exactly like Stormfire said. You're stupid. What are you doing? We produce oxygen on the surface due to plant life, man.
Well, mostly due to plankton. I'm sorry, but yeah, whatever you want. Okay, except that's not happening. That's not happening the same way. It's not happening uniformly across the surface. That's not the responsive. That's not.
Do you hear this guy?
That is
it's
not
mostly the plankton.
why. That's
the
not
air
why
that I'm breathing as I stand next to this tree
the air
that produces
pressure
oxygen.
at sea level is 14.7 psi. That is
mostly happening at the surface because
that's a dumb. That's
the
a stupid.
The oxygen that I'm breathing right now is being produced by the trees I'm standing next to.
The gas is being produced at the surface fast enough to keep the same pressure everywhere at the surface. That's not how it works.
No, you don't know how anything works, apparently, because what you're saying is wrong. The oxygen that I'm breathing right now is due to the plants that I'm next to. That's where the oxygen I breathe is produced, not the plankton over on the Pacific Ocean. The fuck?
Unless you think gas pressure is like a low-lying fog and all that air that gets produced by these plants you're imagining is just hanging around down at the
trees don't produce oxygen. Now trees don't produce oxygen. This is amazing. This is so your globe model is just wrecking itself
and stuff. So you should know that's not true. You shouldn't say that.
You said you're imagining the plants.
We're imagining that trees convert, whatever it is into oxygen. Like that's not happening anymore.
The gaslighting is.
It's not gaslighting. It's barometric pressure, so you can call it barometric lighting or something.
Well, the point I really wanted to address was your stupid straw man that because you went to 120,000 feet, you've confirmed there is no container. Okay, there's a guy that went higher than that. Elon Musk went to 200 miles, and he's literally surfing like a layer of the. You could see it. He doesn't go higher than it, and he skims the surface like a fucking surfboard.
Right.
So there's your evidence of containment right there.
Not. No, there's not.
Yeah, that is a container, sir. That's more dense than the layer below it.
I'll explain why it's not. So the reason why that doesn't work, electric, is because people think that there is high pressure atmosphere next to a vacuum. That is what flat earthers believe. I'm sorry. Now, maybe you don't believe that, or at least you want to admit to it right now, but it is what you imagine. You imagine a glass dome holding in a great deal of pressure next to a invisible void.
You're not. Nope. I never said glass. I never said dome. Let me tell you what it is now, Omnivore. You just tried to straw man me again. You're good.
I can show you the memes.
Nope. Here comes.
But the memes are out there. I'm not lying.
Here comes a steel man. Stop interrupting the steel man. So even in your model, you guys claim that these gas molecules reach equilibrium in the exosphere. What gas molecules is that? Hydrogen and helium. At that temperature that you guys claim you've measured the temperature of the exosphere, helium is going to become a superfluid and hydrogen is going to become ice. So now you have like a plasmoid layer. It's like
That's not,
literally,
no,
yes,
no, it's
yes,
not a
that's
super,
what's happening.
we're not dealing with a
Yeah,
super
and that's what
fluid.
Elon Musk is showing you. He's showing you the layer that is ice and helium. Yes.
Yeah, that's not that. Okay, so you can, I mean, first off, Elon Musk isn't surfing anywhere. But secondly, no, we're not dealing with superfluids. That's not how it works. And the exosphere, I question if you even know what that really is.
That's also the second reason they gave you freaking the snorkels, just in case they might be going near it.
Right. So what layer does helium equalize? What altitude, Omni?
What do you mean by equalize?
Like where does it stabilize in the gradient as a lone, single electron helium, whatever?
I don't know what that means.
It means
that, dude,
finding
you're gonna have covalent bonds of these molecules, these like lone helium atoms that are finding their way to the top of the gradient because they're the lightest gas particle in the elements.
Some of them escape the Earth.
They're the lightest gas particles in the elements, so they're going to reach the top of the gradient. And at that layer, it's all getting ionized, and they're literally only helium there. So it's going to form like a superfluid, like a plasma.
Okay,
yeah, that's what they say. They literally tell you this.
Cite that? Can you cite that? Can you give me a citation for this that uses?
All right, so can you tell me what happens to a helium when it's at that temperature?
Yeah. So okay. So first off, when helium atoms reach a high enough altitude, I can answer it, but you're not going to like the answer because you're not correct about how this works. So can you give me a cite for the superfluid theory? Can you show me your superfluid theory?
It's something like, at 0.2 Kelvin, that's the temperature that helium atoms covalently bond and turn into a
you're using
superfluid.
words. I get that.
Oh my God, yes, I am using words. Can you stop interrupting when I'm doing it? Yeah, I'm using words. That's right, Omni. Calm down.
If you can't cite the superfluid, I'm going to dismiss the superfluid. I'm sorry, I don't make the
What
rules.
happens to helium atoms in a vacuum? They're alone, subject to 0.2 Kelvin. Just Google it.
So
Why don't you just Google what helium superfluid, what temperature has to be to become
I'll wait. Oh.
0.2 Kelvin. Guess what the temperature of the exosphere is?
I'm going to wait for you to finish, and then I'm going to tell you what the citation you need
the temperature of the temperature of the near vacuum of space is 0.27 something Kelvin. So just Google what I'm saying and stop denying it.
So the citation that you need to show is that there is a layer of superfluid helium somewhere above the Earth. That's what you need to show in order for you to make that claim. If you can't,
all right, well, where's all the helium going?
Just move on from there.
All right, so gravity stops acting on the gas molecule and it escapes into the vacuum of space.
Can you
where does the helium go?
Helium.
Why does the helium?
Yeah, you can't. Okay,
why does the helium?
I don't think this is happening. I don't believe you.
Hold on.
I don't think you understand what you think is happening. But if you can show us a citation, I'll concede I could be wrong.
A citation of where helium finds equilibrium in the gradient. Like, dude, you could just Google that. Okay, and when you actually realize that you have to share this conclusion with me, you'll realize that helium has to have like its own layer. Its own layer. They literally claim that the exosphere is that layer. That's where all the helium atoms are finding equilibrium in the gradient. It's the top of the exosphere. And now the question for you is, how the fuck does a gas molecule escape into the near vacuum of space with all this Earth gravity? Like, you guys claim that there's a near vacuum of space and your gas molecules are subject to gravity and the near vacuum of space. So which one wins? It's the near vacuum. The near vacuum would have to win. But it's still nicely sitting on the gradient.
You should know better than this. You should know better than to say that.
Well, you guys say that there's helium atoms escaping into the vacuum anyway.
There are, yes. Some helium atoms do escape.
Oh, so now gravity does win. So gravity wins and doesn't win. It's double speak.
Dumb. This is so dumb. One side doesn't.
Yeah, what's dumb is you're saying that helium atoms escape into the near vacuum of space. And they are also subject to the force of gravity at the same time.
What happens to all the metric tons of helium?
Why does the Glober have to tell you? Can't you guys like figure out the globe yourselves?
Dude, shut the fuck up.
I know the answer. I know the answer, dude. I'm telling him to
Are you
Google
going to
it.
contribute to the conversation?
Yeah, I am contributing to the conversation.
Like once, dude, can you contribute something, dude? Besides bitching and moaning all the fucking time like a bitch?
Go ahead. Ask the Glober a question that you should know yourself.
Yeah, they're asking rhetorical
as
questions.
If they have some special knowledge, as if they've discovered the true shape of the world. That's what it makes sense. They should be asking you these questions.
Helium is one of the lightest elements, right? It's supposed to get trapped up there or escape into the vacuum of space. So I'm wondering what's going on. Where's all the metric tons of helium going?
So the helium that escapes into space drifts away from Earth.
Yeah, why isn't Earth gravity affecting the molecule's direction?
That's the answer, Lion.
Yeah. Address my question, please.
He's Googling.
No.
ChatGPT
can't help you with this one. They don't know.
So gravity can't hold it down?
It can.
It happens to hold everything else down.
Do you want me? Okay, I can explain how that works. I thought you would know this. So each molecule of gas, of any gas, has a certain kinetic energy, which is basically related. That's its temperature, right? So, and those they have averages, but those velocities for the gas particles are not, completely standard, completely set. And the trajectory of the gas particles are essentially random. They're in every direction to some degree. Now, they are affected by gravity, which means more of them are heading downwards because of the force of gravity, but not all of them do. And some of them reach escape velocity, which means that they can take off and they can head up, even though they're being pulled by gravity. Gravity gets weaker and weaker as they go higher, and they retain enough. So you do need a citation that there's a layer of superfluid hydrogen up there.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, you can find it. It's not a flat Earth theory, Sky Enjoyer. That's you're trying to cite.
So as everybody can see, this model is falling apart in this conversation right now.
So, if you can't cite it, you can't cite it. I'm okay with that, but you do need to cite it. So anyway, yes, some gas particles, Lion, can escape the Earth, and they just float away from the Earth.
You have an
they run into
experiment
something
for
else.
us that demonstrated what you are claiming, right? I mean, that's the science. Yeah, you have explanations, but we want experimentation. Okay, proof. Not. Oh, here's my citation. Here's my claim, and that's it. That's not science.
Just a reminder, omnivore, nobody's claiming that the containment creates the gradient. You still have to have some force of gravity, but what is causing the, the not escaping into the vacuum is containment. Very simple concept. You don't have to fight it. Even in the globe model, you guys have like a heliopause. The solar system is contained.
So dumb. It only affects certain helium.
Certain helium. Not certain. Not
it's racist against the black helium molecules. It leaves those alone. And
yo, that's crazy.
And then the other ones, the white ones, they get to go up and off into space. They get to go free. The black ones are attracted to Earth by gravity.
The reason I wouldn't order your coffee, paraplegic, and I'm pretty sure
this is a more reasonable model. Okay, so paraplegic is officially making a reasonable model.
Some helium molecules have more kinetic energy than others. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's just the way it is.
I think paraplegic makes a better glober than you right now. Like he just provided a reason for the gas molecules that getting picked and chosen by gravity. Yeah, you got special helium. What's the difference between a helium molecule that escapes the Earth's gravity and a helium molecule that doesn't? Like, what is the difference?
I'm back.
Two hours later.
It's like transgender fucking helium molecules.
2 hours later.
So yeah, I like the way Lion worded his question. Where does the, metric tons of helium, like, where does it go? It's forming a superfluid layer in the exosphere, dude. It's containing all the gas pressure. Yeah, it's a combination of ice and helium. Just hydrogen and helium, like a weird plasma. That's where all the stars are, too. Right, Omni?
Superfluidity, to my understanding, only occurs in a liquid state, not in a gaseous state. That's one problem that you would have in trying to cite superfluid layers of helium.
Yeah, it condenses at that layer. It gets ionized and it collects. Yeah, there's a coalescence.
So how does that happen?
Because they are all finding equilibrium in the gradient. They're stabilizing amongst other particles.
Is there evidence for this stabilizing of the gradient?
Wow! So now we don't have a gradient. Amazing. This is amazing.
Stabilization of the gradient of hydrogen. Is there
So helium molecules don't rise. There's no evidence of helium rising.
Okay, that's fine. There's no evidence for the collection of hydrogen. Got it. All right, okay.
There's no evidence of helium rising because you are on a slippery slope.
No, I can cite evidence for the things I believe. I can explain to you why I believe them.
Do you believe that there's helium deposits underground that rise through the atmosphere and find equilibrium in the gradient? Like, do you believe this happens? Oh, this is a tough question for Auto Globe. Auto Globe struggles here. Yeah, Sage, stop interrupting. Mute yourself. But hey, Rob Silverman, are you gonna have your boys back right now, or are you just gonna shout obscenities? Defend the globe with your mans. Omni needs help, dude. This is you guys got him fighting for himself by himself, and you all believe the same bullshit.
What's up, Wesley?
Hey, RG, how are you?
Hey,
decided to come chill with the goy, huh?
No.
Shut up.
I see you made it back in.
Hey, Robert, what's on your mind?
Sage, how are you?
Shut up, bitch. Yeah, why are you guys afraid of having the conversation about your psychotic beliefs? Omnivore got so much balls compared to Rob. Rob, you're a little scaredy cat. You're a little meow meow kitty cat.
What are you babbling about, dude?
Yeah, you got Omni fending for himself, dude, and you believe the same shit for some reason.
Rob's still learning, dude. You gotta give him a chance, dude.
And
you gotta pick up on lies.
And you used to a couple times. You went back and forth multiple times. So,
were you watching me? Were you watching me? Can you tell me exactly what happened?
I just got here. I don't know what I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
You believe that gas molecules are attracting to the center of a ball, and you're standing on that ball, which is ridiculous.
Do you have balls?
Well, we see that you don't have balls because you can't address this. Do you believe this?
What's your best evidence for a flat Earth, Jesse?
How about the fact that every single time you look at the Earth, it's flat? How about that?
That's your evidence?
How about every single time you try to measure the Earth, it's flat? Every time you try to, make a map of the Earth, it's flat. Every time you try to make a topographical survey, you treat it as flat. Every time you try to fly a plane, you treat it as flat. Every time you try to do seismology, you treat it as flat. Every time you try to measure a gas pressure gradient, you treat it as flat.
None of that's true.
No, you need it. You need the mathematical construct. You need your formulas. Yeah, you need your formulas.
Treats it as flat.
No, they don't. Look at the battleship guns.
Oh, no.
Welcome, Taylor.
Who was that? Taylor?
Taylor.
Oh, Jesus
So
Christ.
the Navy does not treat it as flat. Whoever told you that is misleading you. I know you didn't look it up yourself.
You
How do
know
you know
that's
that?
bullshit on the.
She saw it on TikTok, Omnivore. That's what she gets.
Are you sure?
I know who I'm talking to.
In their graduate school and Department of Oceanography, they don't treat it as flat per radius?
Sure.
Now you're kind of
Yeah, it's the flattest thing on Earth is the bottom of the ocean, and they measured it that way.
They said I saw it on TikTok, right?
Yeah, that's where you get all your information from, Taylor.
You couldn't get
So
further
do you
from the
think that they
truth.
measured? Did they measure a curve to the flat bottom of the ocean? You know, they said it's flat. So is it
You
curving? Is it
shouldn't
curving or is it flat?
bandwagon me with other people. Actually, you should judge everybody independently. If other flat earthers do.
Who I'm talking to here. So did you look up how the Navy treats the Earth as flat?
I didn't look that up when I came across
right.
it.
I knew it. Right. That's what I said. I was correct. Thank you. Okay.
Do you think that means I come across it by being on TikTok?
She saw a meme somewhere, or someone posted a post and a meme, and she now believes it.
I would guess. I would guess you're quoting Quantum Eraser, which is terrible, but that would be my
I don't
guess.
ever watch him.
Good. I'm glad, but
Why do y'all assume that I did that?
Because we know you.
Because it sounds like
I don't
like
give like
Eraser
sources and stuff.
No.
No, I don't do research. I just kind of go
you don't.
TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah, let's just
do.
make up stuff about Taylor for another half hour.
It's about these, aircraft.
Here comes
here comes Rob not being able to participate. We're not changing the subject to stupid shit that Rob says. But aircrafts and the mathematical concept of what's happening to the plane as it's flying over the surface of the Earth. They treat it as flat because that's the most practical thing to do. Yeah, when you want to explain what's happening, when you want to represent reality mathematically, you're representing the Earth as a flat stationary plane. If you don't know that, go look into it, dude, because it's all over every single one of their documents. All their documents, every single one.
You have no clue what you're talking about, dude. Go back to bed.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm addressing your stupid belief.
Past your bedtime. Go to sleep.
Naval Postgraduate School, Department of Oceanography. Okay, copy.
It's past your bedtime.
So, Rob, you really don't got something better to do right now than to act like the dumbest person on Earth?
It's past your bedtime, Jesse. Go to bed.
Can you take a picture of your ankle, please? I want to see if you're on house arrest.
Okay, there we go. So I was doing some research on radio wave propagation and the atmosphere, and that's how I came across this paper by the. Let's see.
By who?
It
Not
is.
from the Navy.
This is a graduate school class from Naval Postgraduate School, Department of Oceanography. So I came across it doing refraction research. I wasn't on TikTok. I don't watch Quantum Eraser. Or who else did you mention? A meme,
Angel's
maybe?
a shite. You like him too. The whole crew.
Yeah, but everything that they're measuring.
Information from people, and I don't watch YouTube and follow those channels to get information. No, I don't do any of that. So maybe you're thinking of someone else and projecting that onto me.
No, we all know what you do. It's okay.
What do I do? Then tell me one
Rob,
of the
you sorry ass
who's giving
scum.
you this link.
I don't know why Rob wants to make it personal. He doesn't know how to have a conversation.
We're not going to make this whole discussion about Taylor, please. She can come here and hang out, and that's totally fine.
Focus on what she said to you, dude. She's talking about.
Yeah, I'd rather them do that because you quit. For this goes for everybody. Quit doing a bandwagon fallacy, where because some people have what you think they're flat earthers, so therefore you're categorizing them as all flat earthers, and you hold them to the same. Excuse me, I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished talking. And then you put them in the same category, and then you accuse them all of doing the same things. That is not how people operate, okay? So definitely don't do that to me. Okay, please
Briggs,
don't
you're
do
white knighting.
You're white knighting for Omnivore right now.
No, you guys are just kind of hijacking the whole chat. It's gay.
So what do you get from this? I see your flat Earth, the flat Earth references. What do you think they're saying here?
Okay, so I said, whenever he said that multiple people treat the Earth as flat, and I said, does the Navy, Department of Oceanography? You
They do
said,
not.
no, that's
They do
not
not.
true.
They do not treat the Earth as flat. That is correct. They do not. So what do you think? So do you think this
Okay,
is saying they are treating
then
the Earth as flat? Is that what you think they're saying here?
for the displays in this particular course in the Department of Oceanography Graduate School, they used and assumed a flat Earth
So where do you see that?
at the bottom.
I'm looking at the bottom. Figure C, flat Earth. If the Earth is depicted as flat, EM rays in a standard atmosphere will appear to curve upward. So does that mean that they are treating
Read the next sentence.
Most of the displays for this course use a flat Earth assumption. So do you think that they believe the Earth
I'm back.
Do you think they believe the Earth is flat, Taylor?
I didn't say that they believe that it's flat. He said that
They assume
it to be flat, and they're
No.
using that model
They
framework.
don't assume it. So when you say they assume it to be flat, what do you think that implies?
This course use a flat Earth
What do you
assumption.
think that implies? I know what
I didn't tell you. I didn't make any implications.
They're holding it as true
Okay.
assumption.
So
Axiom.
you don't know what you're referring to there, right?
It's an
No, I'm referring
axiom
to
of their
this
model.
quote.
They're holding it as truth.
Okay, so all I
That's
said
what it
was that they
assumes.
assume. Yeah, so
you really weren't making any kind of a valid point. You were just pretending to make a point.
no, I was just quoting this right here. Like you just read.
Yeah. Okay.
That I didn't find on TikTok or on a meme.
Yeah. All right.
anywhere. So
Okay.
y'all
Well,
should
I mean, if
retract
the
your
idea is
statement.
that they make a simplifying assumption that the Earth is flat for some purposes of teaching about how things could work, I could agree with that.
Yeah, that is how it works.
They also assume things like, airplanes assume that there's no air resistance for some, for some calculations because it's a simplifying assumption.
No,
That's not actually making a point.
Check this out, Omnivore. If the Earth is depicted, if the Earth is depicted as flat,
actually believe is that they know the Earth
Omnivore,
is flat
I'm
and they're hiding
talking
it from
now.
us, Taylor.
Jesus, turn me up so you can hear me when I'm talking. If the Earth is depicted as flat, EM rays in a standard atmosphere will appear to curve upward. Most of the displays used for this course use a flat Earth assumption. Why would you skip that part?
Yeah, I was just doing some refraction research, as young as I spent a lot of time doing, and just came across this. And I would like for them to retract the statements
You just
I
came
would like for
across
them
it.
to retract the statements that I
Taylor.
got this.
No,
Who
Taylor.
keeps talking over me?
You just came across it. That's so fucking hilarious.
Taylor,
most
y'all know I
of
have
the
refraction
display,
research.
most of the
you could read Ancient
displays,
Sumerian. I don't believe that either.
Why are you
Okay.
cutting me off?
yeah.
So,
most of the displays used for this course use a flat
This
Earth
is not the
assumption.
Navy either. This is a specific piece of material for a course.
Why would they do that?
Of the school, look at it. It's not the Navy.
You know why they say that the rays bend upward over distance? You know that model of refraction is correct. You know that like the inverse square of the conical beam of the ray, it does lift over distance. So this model is correct. That's why they use it. Duh.
Go to bed.
No, Rob, this isn't for you.
That's the radio nature of light.
Yeah. And these guys are acting like, oh, this isn't the model. Yeah, it is. The model is.
It's not the Navy.
It bends upwards.
It's not the
it bends upward, and it bends upwards in relation to a horizontal plane. In reference to a horizontal plane.
Teaching a very specific thing that so just that's like
every class.
You could say
every class uses this practical method.
This is the Navy graduate school. They're training the Navy.
It's not the Navy. It's not the Navy treating the Earth or the sea as flat.
The Naval Graduate School.
It's just as one class.
It's a valid source regardless.
Class.
Come on, guys.
Taylor's got you guys on the ropes.
Why do you think they say it? Can I ask this question? Why do you think they say it? Like, Sure. So, but it is practical
Occam's
for
razor.
them. Sure, it's practical for them. But what I mean is, we've gone, hey, this is way more useful if our pilots and this and that, these people who are the general public, who you are going to meet a jet pilot in your life if you get out of it, we're going to tell them the Earth's flat. Like, even if it was somewhat suboptimal to treat it as spherical, why would you just go telling everybody? Why would you put it in documents that people can photocopy and take off the base and go, motherfucker, look at this. When I had to fly the jets, they told me the Earth was flat. Like, why would you have to tell the jet pilots? The jet pilots never do a long-range mission, right? They're always within a 200, I don't know how long their radius is. I guess the blackbirds go a fair way.
So,
but
okay.
if they, why would you let the secret out so much that it could end up on a document on the internet?
Okay, before we get off topic, I want people here to have better etiquette in debating and talking to people, and you shouldn't make assumptions about people.
The reason why they think it
so
happens
I would
is one of
like
two
for those
reasons.
statements
Either
about me to be
one,
retracted.
because they're trying to explain to people what they're doing because that's part of the ritual, or two, because the person who's citing this doesn't understand anything about the context, and that would go for donk.
Okay, the first
And
claim that
if
was
you are
made
still
was
citing
full of
it
shit,
because they think
fucking
that
retard on the
random
youth. So full
piece
of
of
shit, bro.
verbiage in a document somewhere makes some kind of powerful point, which is ridiculous, but
okay.
if
The
you're going to
claim made
cite
about me
one
was
white
that
paper, one line from one white paper somewhere that you didn't otherwise read or understand, I guess that's
Sometimes you just have to talk
That's
over
another
Omnivore
claim.
just to get your point across.
Okay, Omnivore, you claim that I got it from Quantum Eraser or someone on TikTok. Can you at least retract that claim?
I don't. He didn't say it. TikTok. I did.
Yeah, he was going on with it. Both of you guys.
I just said you had.
Ooh, Rob said TikTok. Thanks, Rob. Rob said TikTok, guys.
Yeah, and then Omnivore said Quantum Eraser. Remember, Omnivore? You said Quantum. I heard it from Quantum Eraser or something like that. I'm just asking if y'all could retract those claims.
Taylor. I wait a lavish apology.
Okay, what about you, Rob? Do you retract your statement? That I found this from YouTube or something?
Someone gave you this link, and you're trying to use it.
No, that's not true. You're lying again, like boldface.
No, I'm not. You're lying.
No, I'm not.
How do you know that, Robert?
How do you know I'm not lying?
I was doing research on refraction.
Know that?
How do you know I'm not lying?
Could you?
I can give you the background
Directly
research
out of
I
your-
was doing with, I have 20 sources on here.
What is going on? Why are you being so childish, Robert?
Rob, can you retract that claim? And by the way, I don't know one other flat earther who. Hold on, Omnivore. I'm talking.
Trying to cite.
I don't know one other. Can you please stop talking? You've interrupted me like 10 times.
Earth's curvature.
Stop talking, please, please.
Okay,
Rob.
Taylor.
YouTube. You told me I haven't heard one other flat earther make this claim, or provide this link.
She would try this.
Why are y'all letting him talk over me like this?
They're making a display of buffoonery. They're acting like clowns.
Okay, but we should not be labeling people and assuming and assuming bad faith and lying or whatever. Rob, can you retract the statement of how I got the source?
Shut your dumb ass up, Rob. Rob, you're acting dumb as fuck.
You said that the Navy assumes the Earth is flat, and that's not true.
Yeah, it does. It's right here in the
Navy
paper.
Postgraduate School.
No, it doesn't.
Dude, it's in like 200 papers. It's in every single paper, dude.
They do use a flat Earth assumption, as it says right here on the source.
That's not the Navy.
The Navy Graduate School.
But lots of places do, right? Rocketry does.
It doesn't matter. Hold on. Before we move on, I would like for Rob to retract the statement that I just got this off some meme or TikTok or whatever.
No,
that's not true.
Because you got it from someone.
No, I did not. I found this source.
Then I guess we'll agree to disagree. Then, won't we?
Wow, what an idiot!
Wait, I found this doing my own research.
Sure, you did.
You think I'm a liar? You think I'm gonna sit here and lie?
I do.
Don't take the bait, Taylor.
I'm not. I'm sitting here
Here comes another simp.
It's not a TikTok video.
Hold on, Rob.
Here comes another simp.
I don't know one other simp. Why are you yelling?
You're simping, dude. What a fucking
I don't need a
loser.
simp.
You simp for Omnivore then.
You're simping big time,
Okay,
buddy.
so I have
Rob is
20
outbursting
to
like a
40
child.
sources and papers on refraction, and I found this while doing that research, Rob.
Sure you did.
No, I didn't. What?
Sure you did. Sure you did, Taylor.
Do you want me to share them all? Like I can share my screen and show you my sources.
I could get two shits what you do.
Would you retract your statement then?
Oh my god.
Nope.
Why?
Rob, you're just here to. Is this ego or something? What is
He sucks at this, dude. This is like
If
the
I
worst.
show you my
at the
screen and all my
said
sources, would you retract your
She
statement?
said the Navy treats the Earth as flat, and she pretends she put
They use
something
the
in
flat
there.
Earth assumption.
because the
I said the
and
Naval
it's not.
Postgraduate
And
School.
it's nothing to do with the Navy. It's some stupid class.
This is the
in a
Naval
school.
Postgraduate School.
No,
Yes.
no, it's not the Navy.
This is the Naval Postgraduate School.
It's a school in Monterey, California.
Why don't you actually address what's in the paper instead of trying to bring it up
I
about
wanted
like
him to
where
address
she
the
got
fact
it
that
from?
I find this.
Stop trying to bring up where she got it from. Talk about the paper.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I just read it. I sat here and read it.
So
it says a curved Earth. Hello.
Okay, can you please explain to me or tell me why you will continuously assert that I got this from YouTube or TikTok from another person when I'm sitting here telling you and can provide my sources?
I don't
Can you at
believe
least
you.
retract that statement?
I don't believe you.
Rob is a
I just
sexist.
googled.
You
the
don't
Naval
believe me.
Graduate School
He doesn't
is a
believe you
fully
'cause you're a
integrated naval command and is not just,
Yes,
posted
the Naval Postgraduate School is part of the
It ain't
U.S.
a
Navy.
dude. It ain't a spec
It's
class, Rob.
operated as a naval command. With
It
a
doesn't matter where she
graduate
found it at
university
all.
mission.
Like that fact doesn't even fucking matter, dude. The paper is saying the most commonly used diagram is the most practical one, the one that most accurately represents reality. That's every single fucking paper, Rob.
Here's a
Every
paper.
paper
The
treats the
Naval
Earth as flat.
Postgraduate School is a part of the Navy. I don't know why y'all keep saying that.
Can I ask for an answer to my question? Why do you think that they
No,
put that
wait.
in?
Before we move on,
Why? Why?
Because
It's on this
look,
topic, Taylor. You don't get to
because
just filibuster
he
me.
keeps calling me a liar. I will
I don't want to keep. I don't want to keep going on with the meta. It's so dull.
Yeah, I can answer. I can answer you, eggshells. It's known as.
Why would the Navy do that?
So that you'll see this, right? That it's in plain sight, revealing of the method. Like they'll actually put truths out there, like right underneath their eyes and their noses.
Duper's the
I'm
light.
saying why? You're describing the thing I'm saying. Yeah. So truth in plain sight. But I'm saying why?
Yeah, truth in plain sight.
Why, if you're trying to hide the truth, would you put it in plain sight? I'm not
Because
saying there's a name for it. I know
there's
that
a
they do that. That's
philosophy.
the claim.
There's a philosophy in the occult, right? Revealing of the method.
And it's literally just not a practical.
Because the
thing
Navy
in
needs to be
this
accurate, right? And they just use flat Earth. As you could say, it's just easier to do flat Earth models. But then they're also treating the radio waves as bending up. So I'm wondering why they treat the radio waves as bending up if actually the globe is bending down. That's what they say that they're doing here.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, but hold on,
Rob,
hold on, dude. Real
you know
quick,
what's
real
funny?
quick.
I proved you wrong. And you still won't retract
you
your
didn't.
statement.
You didn't
Dude,
prove me
Rob ain't
wrong.
gonna concede.
Yes.
But yo, hold on.
Because if you look at
Wait,
the
why is there
paper,
10 people jumping in? I really
if
just
you
want to
look
talk
at
It's
to
not
Rob.
you.
Go ahead, Lion.
Other people trying to talk in this.
if you look at the
I know, but he called me a liar.
Hey, Simp, take it easy, Simp.
That's
I'm
not
talking.
cool.
Listen, Taylor.
Rob,
if
come
you look
on.
at
I'm
the
trying
paper,
to talk to eggshells for a second.
Simping. Take it easy. If you look at the paper,
Can
Taylor.
you just retract your statement, Rob?
If you look at
Did
the
I put it
paper
on
at the
TikTok
bottom,
or
which
something?
you're using as your gotcha Earth is flat bullshit. If you look at the paper, it says figure A, figure B, figure C. What does figure A say? True Earth.
They're not assuming that.
If the
Yeah, but aren't
actual
they using that
curvature
for
of the
their
Earth is
models and for their course?
Oh my God. You don't even know what you're using as your evidence. If you've read what
I
you
read
said,
this paper,
it's an
yes.
example. Yeah. And it's a test, number one, not a
Okay,
and it's giving you three figures. Figure A, and it says true Earth. True.
Okay, they are
And then it
using
talks about
flat
the
Earth though
curvature.
as the model
No.
for their course. But either
No,
way,
they're not.
I didn't
No,
find
they're
this.
not
Yes,
using
they
flat
are.
Earth as a model.
Yes,
They're
look at
using
figure C. Figure
that's
C
not
says
a
that.
model for their course.
Yes, they said they are using the flat Earth assumption for the remainder of this course.
No, it doesn't say
And for the
that.
figures in this course. Yeah, I can pull the proofs up. But hold on, Omnivore, please do not jump in. Please don't
It
jump
doesn't
in,
say anything
Omnivore.
about a reason for
Robert, I did not
guys
get this
kind of
on
agree with
TikTok
each
or
other.
YouTube. Can
They
you
make a
retract
point,
that
and
statement,
then when we
please?
look at it, it doesn't make the point.
Can you
but
retract the
she'll
statement that I
say,
got this
well,
from
I'm now
TikTok or YouTube?
Omnivore, Robert, you guys take turns or something.
Yeah.
Let's give Be Kind a chance to
If you
finish
look
their
at the
thought.
paper, if you look at the
Yeah, give
paper
me
she
a chance to
posted,
finish.
it clearly says in there that the Earth is curved.
But they're not assuming
she's
that
not
for their
going to stop
course.
saying this. So
Okay,
I
so
just,
hold on.
You know, I feel
Robert,
like
can you retract that I
if
got this
we're gonna
from
have the
YouTube?
discussion,
Will she stop with this retracting shit?
Can you retract that? Because I did my own
You're a
research
liar,
and
and
found
I'm
this
not
paper on my own.
retracting it.
What did I
No.
lie about? What did I lie about? To call me a liar, what did I lie about?
He said,
Rob doesn't even understand the issue. Rob doesn't understand the issue. So this model right here, the figure A true Earth,
because what
if
she's
actual
doing is
curvature
really in
is
bad
shut
faith,
up.
actually.
shut up, omnivore. If actual curvature of the Earth is depicted to scale, then an EM ray in a standard atmosphere will appear to bend downward, but not as much as the Earth. This is basically saying these rays don't actually bend downward. You just have to invoke this to be the case because you think you're on a globe. If you want to think you're on a globe, you got to say that the rays are doing something that you don't observe, that you don't demonstrate. Over distance, the rays are bending with the surface of the Earth due to
Jesse,
whatever,
put it back.
because of Earth curve or gravity. But that's not what we observe. The rays bend upwards. That's what's measured. So they consider that figure C to be the most accurate representation. That's why they use it in the course.
That's not what
That's
it
the
says.
part
You're
that
just making
that's the
that up.
part that Rob missed.
That's not even. I don't even agree with that either, though. The light bends
No,
both
that's
up and
exactly.
down.
It says the flat Earth matches the observations.
Your
I'm saying that-
interruptions are burying the discussion.
I'm saying that light, right, is radio. It bends up and down, dude. It bends in all directions.
So you can see the picture that I put in there from Taylor's document with Earth's curvature. This is from the page she linked to, and there's a little blue note in the lower left titled Earth's surface. So it's clear they don't think the Earth is flat.
If you look at the diagram line figure, if you look at the diagram line figure A, the rays are bending down due to Earth curve.
Most
So
of
if
the
you're saying
displays
that's
used for
if you're
this
saying
course
that's
use a
what's
flat Earth
happening,
assumption. So the rays appear to
Flat-
bend upward, except in ducting cases to be discussed later. Okay, so I found this and I found it very intriguing because I was looking up refraction and I came across this paper
Sure you
on
did.
my own, looking up radio waves and how they
Sure you
would
did.
bend. Have you not seen all the citations I've given on refraction so far, Rob? To say sure I did, like I don't do my own research, is crazy. How can you even say that? I've at least
So I don't know why
provided
we're
like
still
10
talking about this.
sources on this particular
this
topic.
document doesn't.
Hold on,
address
that is
anything other
irrelevant,
than
Omni. That's why I have to talk to one person at a time, please.
Some
Rob,
class
you know I
in-
provided
in
many
some
sources
college
on
makes
this.
a simplifying
Why are you
assumption.
talking over me and why are the mods allowing this? This is so disrespectful. Okay,
What kind of weird
I
tactic is this? Look, hey, Taylor, he's not going to give you what you want. You're kind of taking
Your
over the
dismissals
whole
are blocking
thing. For,
clarity.
Yeah.
no, I'm
The whole
heading out. I just
conversation is
can't
about
believe
your.
like
Could
you
you
shouldn't
pick
be
it up
able
with
to
him in
Yes.
DMs, perhaps?
Taylor,
It's
people are
just you in a
blind.
conversation
no
with
one
him.
here can make him not be an asshole.
Yeah.
Let's give Be Kind a chance to finish their thought. Your interruptions are burying the
We
discussion.
can't stop him from being an asshole.
when he said TikTok, he already buried himself, honestly.
Just
They
let
were
him
both
lose.
doing that.
But
They were both
fine.
asserting.
But now you're
like,
losing
I know.
too. Now you're the one we're addressing it with. So why not just take the moral victory and go, he's an asshole, he called me a liar, he didn't produce any evidence for that. I showed that by asking him one or two times.
He should be
By
held to
taking over the
account.
whole next 40 minutes of the conversation,
No,
you
we're
kind of
gonna
become the bad
continue.
guy. And you
It's
shouldn't
just
be on
wrong
that.
to do that to people.
I know, I agree with you, but you're now the one that's doing it
That
wrong
shouldn't
too.
happen in these This is like an ad hom. It's not even adding. You're just dogpiling people and accusing them of name calling. What does that do? That
Right.
should be reprimanded.
Agreed. And you're doing.
I
And you're engaging
agree
as well.
entirely. Yeah, and he gets
it's very
muted
true.
all the time. I was just eating a burrito. Sorry. Fuck's sake.
Anyway,
I'm
yeah.
still
So
here. I
I'm looking
wanna-
at the paper. If you continue reading this course, they do assume flat Earth, and they talk like for their models. And if I'm not mistaken, they talk about the rays bending upward. Look, you can push next, and you continue on with the course if you want to keep looking into it. But I was very extremely shocked when I saw this because I came across it like completely by chance. I was just looking up refraction. The last thing I expect to see was like, oh, we're gonna use a flat Earth assumption for this course. I even remember like screenshotting it and going and telling people like, oh my gosh, I just found something so crazy. Like they use this flat Earth assumption. Yeah, Daniel's here, right? I was doing my own research.
She showed me this like a year ago when we were at the Salt Flats. Like,
And I was looking at this paper. I was looking at papers on.
I haven't really seen her get much information from social media. If there's anyone who will dig through hundreds of pages of information in order to find sources, it's Tayler. She's done this for the COVID vaccine as well. If you know any information about that, or abiogenesis, specifically about COVID. I mean, go look at page 125 of the CDC website, and you tell me what it says. I know Taylor's done that. So,
And they
you know,
seem to get my sources on
if
TikTok.
you won't retract a meaningless statement, then your statements are meaningless. So be careful about what you claim and what you refuse to retract.
Thank you. Yeah, I will spend hours sitting here doing research. It's what I enjoy doing. And yeah, just for somebody to just claim everything I'm saying, or doing this to anybody, not even just me, to do that to anybody, is very disrespectful, and it's calling them a liar. And it shouldn't happen. The end.
We should not. Yeah, Rob does not deserve this much time for his stupidity. But I wanted to address Lion, because Lion said that these radio waves also bend down. And yeah, dude, but in this diagram, figure A, it's saying that the radio waves are following the curvature of the Earth, and then they eventually bend up and become tangential to that curve. So that is what this is saying, is the radio waves are bending due to gravity, and then they bend upwards due to refraction. So that's what's not
When you say
demonstrated
figure A, what do you mean figure A? Where's figure A? I'm looking
in
for
the paper Taylor posted. I could repost it.
All right, what the last paper? Let me see. Or the paper that
I'm strictly talking about this image. I'll just post the image.
The image that Omni posted.
Maybe I haven't.
You should definitely just click on the link I posted.
Yeah, click on the link. It's like all the way down.
I found this on my own.
Repost it.
Yeah, so this diagram, figure A, this is what the Globers have to believe. They believe that the ray follows the surface.
Yeah.
It's bending down due to fucking Earth curve. Like, that's not real. Yeah.
It's the one that says actual Earth radius.
No, the one that says flat Earth at the bottom, which I don't even know why they put that on there. It's irrelevant. Why would they say how the light would be bending on a flat Earth if it's not even? And then assuming flat Earth for the remainder of the course figure is crazy.
The point I'm trying to make, which is kind of like fucking, I don't even know why I'm trying to make Rob understand. But like from your reference frame where you're like pinging for the signal, you're just measuring like in a linear fashion. It's just a line of communication from A to B. So, from that reference frame, you can reference the vector of gravity. And that's it. You really don't have anything else that you're claiming is going on. So all your linear distance measurements along the surface is just flat. Just flat when you try to measure it with radio waves. It's just a line of communication, man. Very simple. You should know this.
And if you look at the next page, so it talks about like the temperature being like the warmer at the bottom, which will strengthen, the refractive index near the surface, the refractivity, and it just kind of keeps going on with this notion, and it goes on sinking, result of sinking, and yeah, I'm gonna keep reading on. Actually, I haven't read past that first page, but I didn't even know there was an X button. I just saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, you can keep reading. Keep reading. Cool. Anyway, yeah, just please don't lie about me. You can say whatever you want. Just don't lie. You shouldn't do that to anybody.
Yo, Rob lies about everything. Yo, what were you gonna say, Lion?
That makes your word untrustworthy. People aren't gonna trust what you have to say if you just like blatantly lie like that.
Do you realize your complaint though is that he's a liar, and now you're accusing him of lying, and now we've gotten so upset about it that you've started doing exactly the same thing?
Well, he won't even retract, even though I've proven that what he said was wrong. He doesn't care. The worst part.
His claim, without evidence that he hasn't supported, but his claim is that you've come across this by somebody shown it to you rather than research in a way that he respects or something, right? Yeah, he's just claiming found it as a meme or something, because it is out there, right? People regularly go and just do searches for this, try and find PDFs that contain the word on a flat stationary Earth and things. So we're not going to resolve that, but if your complaint is that that's a lie and that's an unresolvable thing, then you calling him a liar on an unresolvable thing is itself an unresolvable thing. So now
I'm trying to resolve it. I'm trying to give him citations, evidence. I'm trying to show him my PDF on. Yeah, he lied about me.
And your complaint is that he called you a liar.
Yes, because I'm trying to bring him the truth.
So you're now doing the thing. You're now doing the
No,
thing.
he did lie about me saying I got this from some YouTube or TikTok. That's a lie.
Well, it's an unresolvable thing, right? We can't test
Can
that.
we resolve it? I was hindered
How?
from resolving. I want to continue down that path.
How would we resolve it? Sure, you can find it online, but he's saying that you've been
Yeah, I was
pointed
going to
in
show him my research leading up to it in my Word doc, in my other sources. Huh?
But that doesn't tell us the provenance of it.
Well, you can see all my independent sources, primary sources, and like quotes from these papers.
It's a
and
dick
then
thing
this
of
paper,
him to call you a liar.
excuse me, just let me finish the sentence. This paper is in a list of other sources with references and citations and links. So basically, I'll read a paper, copy paste interesting parts in the paper and take notes on it, and then I'll put the link and then I'll move on because papers will cite other papers, so you can move on from there. You can see that this line of thought and this line of research was occurring by looking at my document, but he refused to look at it.
You're circling the drain of resolution.
But yeah,
dragging this out, man. Just dangling bait on the same stupid subject that Rob had some validity in his dishonest bullshit. Like, can you stop?
Well, yeah, I think Eggshells just brought it back up, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just don't think it's
wrong
that
to
interesting.
do that, though.
It's
Don't you
wrong to
agree?
accuse somebody of lying on something that's unresolvable, right? He thinks.
Oh, it's not unresolved. I know for a fact how I
we can't
found it.
resolve it, Taylor. Nobody else can.
Okay,
And as
I know if I'm the person who found it, so I know how it was found. So I can say
So you
verbatim
say-
with fact that what he said in the way that I found this is a lie.
Why don't you just take
because
it up
I
with
know
him in
how I found it.
DMs? Go chat with him in DMs. You seem really keen on
Well,
having
you
a
just
discussion with him.
continued it. I wasn't talking about it anymore.
Look, I got a paper right here. You guys are going to tell me that I found this on TikTok?
Spoke up.
Here, I'll post a paper for you. Tell me that I found this on TikTok.
If
I
you,
found
read,
this on my own.
if you read what it says on your figure C, it says if the Earth is depicted as flat, it doesn't say it is flat. Okay, so
First of all,
and
why
then
are
it
they
says-
depicting it and why are they using it?
because
as
it's part of an
analogous source?
example. It's part of an example. This is a test. If you take the quiz, they give you a test. Okay, and it
Most
says
of it is
flat
used
Earth
for this source of
assumption.
comparison. Yeah.
Why do you shout?
Assumption.
Why do you shout?
Yeah.
Okay, so this doesn't say the
So the rays
Navy.
appear to bend
This is-
upward.
excuse me. You came in here and said that's what started the whole thing. The Navy.
No.
And they assume that the Earth is flat. The Navy pilots and you said it. You
That's
did.
not okay, y'all. No, Electric
Well,
was going through
play the tape.
examples of people who assume flat. Remember, you asked him, "What's your proof of flat Earth?" He kept going on. And he said, "Oh, this and that assumes it. Surveyors assume it." And then I said, like the Navy Department of Oceanography. And
You said the
then
Navy.
I was told that's false. Yeah, Navy for sure. This is a department. This is within the Navy, by the way.
No, it's
I
not.
think. Okay, I'll substantiate that too. If I prove you wrong on that, will you then retract that statement?
No.
Even if I show you that this is a part of the Navy, you still will not retract your statement.
No.
So you don't care if you're wrong.
I know I'm not wrong, so I don't have to detract anything.
So I will show you that you're wrong. Will you retract it once you're shown that you're wrong?
No.
Why? Then you'll know that you're lying. You'll be willfully lying. Why would you do that?
Character flaw.
Simp. Here's another simp.
I literally just said, if I show you you're wrong, will you retract? And you said no. So you're going to willfully lie?
A silent.
It's bad faith. Just move on. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just profound to me. If I'm shown that I'm wrong on the topic, I definitely won't continue. And I definitely will say, yeah, you're right.
This
But
document
anyway,
does not say the Navy thinks the Earth is flat, yet you keep
I never
saying
said it
does.
said that.
That's a
Yes,
straw
you
man,
did.
dude. That's a straw man, dude. Nobody said that. She said,
Shut the fuck up, Zion, you simp.
dude, I'm not no simp, bro. Trust.
Yeah, well, you're
I
assuming
talk
for
shit to Taylor all the
omnivore.
time.
I just don't want to listen to that anymore. I'm sorry. Sorry, Robert. You can take a time out, bro. You shout. It's just, you need to self-regulate, bro.
Yeah,
Go
he's
take a
not
time
helping.
out. Have a drink of water.
Can we just move the conversation forward, though?
Yeah.
Stop
yeah.
calling
Of
each other
course.
liars.
Yes,
We're talking about
whenever you want.
refraction and propagation of radio waves.
Whenever you want.
Man, if people think they're qualified to start
discussing that based on this document, I kind of want to hear it.
Yeah, I can provide the sources too that this is a part of the Navy.
Sure, I don't think anybody
The
disputes
Naval
that.
Postgraduate School.
You guys
Well,
act like
Robert did.
lines. You guys act like lines are so complicated. Like, do you not believe that there's lines
He
of
said this is
communication?
not part of the
Robert's taking
Navy.
a time out, so we don't need to talk about him while he's got to take a time out.
I said it's part of
Did
the
you hear what I
Navy. He
said?
said no, it's not. But I'll give a
Taylor,
source on that too.
I agree. I
Taylor,
agree.
I just want Taylor to realize that he did get timed out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
the
you can start
server's
talking about whatever
not.
you want, whenever you want. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that the server is actually modding on your behalf, right? So Robert got timed out. Future
Well,
reference.
I don't even ask for him to be timed. He wasn't. I mean, yeah, but he was kind of yelling
Let's just
and
get back
stuff.
to the
So
topic. I think it's just
But yeah,
like,
so
if we agree
actually,
the Navy or says that, I think of course these documents exist, right? Has anybody heard about the joke about the spherical cows? Where a farmer says, I want to improve the throughput of my cows. I've got a milking farm and I want to figure out, which they often do, get people to figure out they go through this way and then they turn here and then they go there and we plug in these things from here and the channels have to go here and the separator goes there and the filtering is there and whatever else. And the university goes away and comes back and they went, right, so we've had our physics team look at it and we've got a system by which we can actually triple your output of milk. And the guy's like, that's amazing. He goes, there's just one catch. And he goes, yeah. And he's like, you have to have spherical cows. And the joke is that whenever physicists do stuff, they have simplifying assumptions that often end up becoming a little bit laughable. And the joke is the cows have to be spheres because then we can put them in these tubes and they're always going to have this diameter. And, you get what I mean? And I don't think anybody should dispute whether the Navy has that document. It's just whether they are saying the Earth is flat or that it's, which is your point, and I agree, he's missing this, is you're just saying, why do they do that? If they're
it's so funny.
Good, why do they treat it as flat? Which is a good question.
It's funny hearing you try to drown out the sound of your own words. Like you said, simplified. What you mean to say is Occam's razor. Like this is the method because it makes sense. This is how you accurately represent what's going on.
Well, you can't model everything, I think is true, right? You couldn't model everything. If you were trying to figure out how a car works, you wouldn't include the wing beats of a swallow, right? You're just not going to include everything. It would be impossible. So when they didn't include air, cars were very blocky. But when they did start including air in their modeling, now the cars got sleek. When they didn't model for pedestrian impacts, the cars were high up. And then when they did model for pedestrian impacts, the cars got down low, so it's hard to go under them, right? When we model for things, and we model for the right things, because it's difficult to include things in the model, because there are many factors, and adding one factor multiplies by every other factor, you want to keep that low. So if you don't need to include the rotation of the Earth, don't. I don't.
Right. So just like when. Yeah, so you want to know the relative density for the back of the plane in relation to the front of the plane, and there would be a difference due to Earth's gravity, right? But they build everything in relation to a horizontal plane instead, so they're not even considering like the different rate of whatever you would call it. The difference in velocities acting on the opposite ends of a craft. You would have to factor that in the math, right? Over time, you're calculating for gravity more and more, right? You're making your more and more.
I feel like you just changed to a completely different topic. I feel like
not really.
Is this coming back?
No. Well, no. The entire craft is treated as like the density from the front to the back is in relation to a horizontal plane. It's not in relation to like Earth curve. Can you prove that it is? Because that would be the sleeker.
What is that question, man? I'm struggling to even understand what you're saying. I don't think they model that. Generally, there's like multiple simplifications. So that
it's just like this toe tank paper. Here, I'll show you the toe tank paper. It's the same thing, same concept.
Man, there's just no. So what they generally say in the simplifying paragraph is things like it assumes a rigid body when we know the wingtips flex, everything flexes, of constant mass where we know the plane will always land lighter than it took off. That's got mass evenly distributed about its axis. So you draw a line down the middle and you assume that left and right weighs the same when the pilot often sits on one side. lots of equipment sits on one side. There's lots of simplifying assumptions that are put into it. That's the only point I'm making. I don't get what you're suddenly now throwing an elephant at me going, prove something to do with air pressure in the front of the back of the plane. Can you explain that? I didn't follow
I'm
it at all.
saying because the force of gravity, the difference in the force of gravity from the front of the plane to the back of the plane is going to be different because it's structured in relation to a horizontal plane. So the relative density, like, from
What's
the
this in
front to the
relation to,
back,
though? Is this in relation
you would
to
have
naval
to
yachts?
account. You would have to account for that if every vector of gravity was different. It was a
Who's
different
you?
angle. Well, you're talking about designing a craft, dude. You're the one who brought up making
What are you talking
vehicles
about, man? Does this make sense
sleeker.
to you?
Yes, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
go again. Start at the beginning. I'm going to try and catch it this time. Go.
You want to design a craft to be more like, aerodynamic, more capable of whatever.
Bingo.
Then you're going to
with you.
consider how the vector of gravity is acting on the front of the plane in relation to the back of the plane.
Gotcha. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
This is how you're gonna find all your relative densities like throughout the craft when you're engineering
Relative
your craft.
densities?
Yeah, this is how you're gonna structure. Okay, go ahead.
That's the bit you're losing me. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, where you want to know where is the center of gravity of the plane, but do I treat it as the center of gravity is perfectly there?
But they don't treat it like there's a center of gravity. They treat it like it's in relation to a horizontal plane. That's my point.
Fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the bit where it says a flat stationary Earth. It just goes, in relation to this horizontal plane that is like sea level or something, that is completely flat, and the plane is above that some distance, and that's going to affect like pressure gradients and how speed and all sorts of stuff. And that there's so much already to calculate in that they don't include curvature. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to like it's fine. I know it's hard to explain this part. But when it comes to like your super long crafts, like, the things that are like really big, like your lines of freight, you don't consider that. You don't consider that ever.
Lines of freight?
Yeah, you got like long ass trains, you got long ass, bus carriers. I don't know. You got all kinds of long crafts that you don't account for anything.
Don't account for. Is this still related to the NASA document saying Earth's flat? Because I don't think they even talk about
you said I'm addressing that point. You said like over time you're gonna account for these things, like the model, like when you're making the mathematical.
People won't account for certain things. Yeah.
Can we get a topic going though, Drew?
I think we still should be on the topic.
Yeah, you can.
Why would
can
the
do whatever
Navy
topic you
say
want.
treat the?
No, I'm just saying, like it's like we're just losing. Like it just.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Was there
Like, what is
something you wanted to talk about?
Electric. I'm not following your.
Yeah,
no, I don't have any. I don't have
what we were talking about.
Topic, bro,
you don't have a topic, but
I just feel like the last 40 minutes has just been a waste. There's nothing being talked about of substance. Just fucking.
Before
I don't know what's going on.
Rob Silverman went on.
Not since Robert. On help.
I wanted to address. My point is like a philosophical
because
point.
Omnivore asked Electric, "What's your proof of why would we assume flat Earth?" And then Electric started saying, because none of us assumes it's flat. These different people assume it's flat. I chimed in with the Navy, and I came across that on my own. It's a flat assumption for their models and stuff in their course.
Sorry.
And I came across that on my own research, and I chimed in, and then they said, "No, they don't. You're wrong. This isn't part of the Navy. You found this on TikTok." Okay, well, one of those claims. I just have been sitting here getting the sources, and I do have it. Yeah, I'm posting it right now. From their website.
We'll agree it comes
to show that they are the Navy. So
sure, we'll agree it's the Navy.
Anybody wants in the future. NPS is a naval command.
No, I said it's not the entire Navy. It's not the Navy. It's one class of one college in a very large, big ass Navy.
The Navy has a unique academic institution.
That's not the Navy. Mankind thinks the Earth is flat.
Don't interrupt.
One idiot thinks the Earth is flat.
Don't fucking interrupt, G. Yeah? Come on, bro.
Please, dude. I was just trying to share for people that might be interested.
How old are you, dude? How old are you, Omni? That's ridiculous, bro.
I'm sorry? It's
Get it together. Get it together, man.
This is a pretty interesting source.
I realize it's tough. It's tough when you want to be right.
Well, then why do you have to overtalk, dude, if you're so right?
I can't help you.
Why do you have to lie? You shouldn't have to.
The bottom line is
lying. Please, let's
this is a part of the Navy. This is another thing I'm refuting. Okay, so
You both agreed. You both
this
agreed
is
there?
a significant
it's a
thing
part
because
of
this
the
is the
Navy, we're agreed.
Navy's
Oh yeah, I
graduate
agree.
school.
It's
Okay,
definitely a
so
part
if
of the
you
Navy,
actually, why are you talking over me again?
but it's
Are you
not
so scared to
the
hear me talk?
Navy's perspective on Earth. It's that
Dude,
let Taylor
why?
speak.
Why?
Commodore,
Why?
let
Why can't I
Taylor
say
speak.
anything?
okay.
Okay, this is a very important thing because I already posted earlier. They use the flat Earth assumption, right, for the for their models, right, for their school. Let me post this picture again. So, and you see here in their mission statement that they are like super advanced. It says to meet advanced educational requirements, the Navy has a unique academic institution at the Naval Postgraduate School with specialty tailored academic programs. And so it's really hard to get in this program as well. And they work for like the Department of Defense. Yeah. So
If I
it says
may.
as an academic institution, NPS, they emphasize study and research programs that are relevant to the Navy's interests, as well as interests of other branches of the Department of Defense. Period.
If I may, and I apologize to Eggshells for yelling, the document that you posted, Miss Taylor, if you read what it says in the area that you're talking about, it says programs that display RF propagation, such as AREPS, use different types of representations of the Earth curvature. You should be aware of which type you are looking at. It should be stated somewhere. The three most common types of displays are true Earth radius, 4/3 Earth radius, and flat Earth infinite radius. So they're using these.
Which one are they using for their course?
No. Excuse me. What
There
you're
we go.
doing is you're conflating this one little thing here about this AREPS.
No, they continue with the rest of the course.
Excuse me. You're conflating the AREPS that they're trying to model in these different things about radiuses with the Navy's stance on the Earth. And that's where
I never said that they made statements about the Earth.
Well, you're implicating that, and that's what's very frustrating.
It doesn't matter. Okay,
does
and
matter.
then the last source I posted showed that you were wrong. You said this is not a part of the Navy. Will you retract that statement? Look in the chat. I even tagged you in one of them.
I don't have time to deal with this.
Will you retract the statement? I just showed you you're wrong. Can you just retract something I just showed you you're wrong about? Like the second thing. It says that it's part of the Navy. It's a naval command
Yeah,
with a defense
straight
graduate
hard
university mission. So he won't retract it even though he knows he's wrong. That's crazy, dude. How can I
Good,
don't
good
know.
job, Tyler. Good job.
The record will show it, I guess. If he doesn't want to, it's not gonna.
That's pridefulness or something. I'll happily say I'm wrong if somebody proves me wrong. I will say that I'm wrong. So you don't blatantly assert things you're not sure about.
Yeah, that's typical Glober tactics.
So confidently too, like so confident when you say it. That's crazy.
Well, now that we settled that,
Well, I think that this in and of itself has shown a lot. And yeah, if anybody wants source, you can take it. This is the Naval Graduate School saying that they're going to assume a flat Earth for the remainder of the course. Okay, they're not saying the Earth is flat. Yes, they have a true Earth. Yes, they have a 2/3 Earth. Yeah, they have this and that, whatever. But for the remainder of the class, they do say that they're assuming a flat Earth model, and they
doesn't
do
say that.
treat it as that. If you can, yes, it says.
does not.
Okay, let me quote it exactly as I did before.
Go ahead. Doesn't say anything about remainder of the course. Doesn't say that. You're
Yes,
wrong.
for this course, yes, it does.
Where's Joe? Read. Remainder of this course. Tell me where it says that.
Hold on, I'm having to pull the link back up. I'm having to scroll and find
Yo,
it. I
Rob.
don't know where
Yo,
it
Rob,
is
look
yet.
at this.
Shut up, Jesse.
Yo, Rob, look at this goofy picture for your model. Look at what I'm posting.
I don't care what you posted.
Look at your stupid model. Look how dumb that is.
Hold on, I'm waiting for Taylor.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the citation again.
Look at your squiggly
But I
propagation.
waited for you all day.
Would you like me to send the? Would you like me to put the link in the chat again so you have it?
I'm on
Here.
my iPad, so you have to bear with me.
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll screenshot it and put it in the chat for you. You don't have to look for anything. Here
And will you retract your statements as well?
I'm not retracting anything.
I just showed you this is a part of the Navy, and I
don't even
will
care.
provide an abundance of evidence that shows you I did not find this on TikTok, but you won't retract.
I don't care where you
any
found
claims.
it from.
Okay, well,
You're
this is part of the Navy. I just cited that.
You're using this document to say that the Navy treats the Earth as flat. And then you're saying that this course, the remainder of this course, that's this one little question on a test they're showing here.
Most of the displays used for this course use a flat Earth assumption.
It doesn't say remainder of the course, does it?
Most of the displays used for this course
where's
use a
the
flat Earth
remainder?
assumption, so the rays appear to have been upward, except in ducting cases to be discussed later.
Okay, where does it say remainder of the course?
Well, the displays used in the course. This is the
Doesn't
first
say
slide.
remainder.
This is literally test 1. Yeah, it doesn't say the word remainder. It just says most of the slides in
you
this
said
course.
remainder.
Okay, well,
Now,
it doesn't
what
say
you should
remainder. It
do-
says most of the displays used for this course.
Now, here's what you should do,
And this
Taylor,
is
and
the
if you'd like-
beginning of the course. So anyway,
Okay, sure.
like,
Here's
can
what
you
you
now
should do.
retract that this is actually part of the Navy as well?
Here's what you should do. You should reach
You won't.
out.
Okay,
you
see,
should
I'll
reach
correct
out
when
to
I'm
the-
wrong. Even a new one, I'll correct it. But you won't even correct when you're blatantly wrong.
Here's what you
That's
should
crazy.
do. Here's what you should do, Taylor.
It's
You should
called
reach out to
pridefulness,
the.
dude.
You should reach
Yeah,
out
they
to
didn't
the.
use the word remainder. They used for most of this course, and this is the beginning. So, or at least of the series.
They're talking about a
Either
specific.
way, I'll retract if I say something
Okay.
wrong. Why can't you?
They're talking about a specific thing here, okay? About RF propagation and AREPS. Now, that's a specific thing they're talking about. They're not talking about a whole course. Now, what you should do is you should reach out. Okay. You should reach out to the person who is teaching this course and maybe get some clarification of what this says so you could then talk about it intelligently. That's what you should do. Instead of doing what you do, which is what I brought to everyone's attention earlier, where you just pull some random document and that's your gotcha evidence. We got you, the Earth's flat.
Gotcha. I was just
Taylor,
mentioning that
may I
they
address
assumed it
that?
for their course,
May I
which
address
is
that?
true.
Rob, this graph, it represents data points, right?
And by the way, look,
points.
push forward next.
Can you hear me? I wonder if my mic is working.
No, you're kind of low. But you're at the end of a sentence. Go ahead. I'm gonna turn you up.
Yeah.
Did you have something else to say? I'm sorry.
There's no chance that
Was he
Taylor really
whispering or-
believes the Navy thinks the Earth is flat because of that one line
Did
in
I
the
ever even
document so
say
far.
that, dude?
There's no chance.
So why are you bringing this document
I never
in?
said that.
So
If you
what's the
push
purpose?
because I said that they assumed a flat Earth model for their course, which is true.
It doesn't say that.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Says that we will quote it
What
again.
course? A course on what? What course?
There is no
Most of the
chance,
displays
no shot.
used for this course use a flat Earth assumption. Most
What's
of
the
the
course
displays
titled?
used for this course use a flat Earth assumption.
Yeah, for the RF propagation, where they're showing it on 3 different, and then the first one, true Earth. So they're saying that true Earth is not true? Interesting.
I have no clue. All I said
Exactly, because
they
you're
said the
just
remainder.
taking a line. You
Most
saw
of the
flat
displays used for
Earth.
the
You saw
This was-
flat Earth.
if
and
you're
you
sitting
had
here
heart
doing research,
palpitations.
you should understand why this is
let's-
startling to
Let's clear this up. There is no way you think the Navy really believes the Earth is flat because of the way you're reading this statement, right? You don't think that.
I'm not reading it. It just says most of the displays used for this course use a flat Earth assumption.
Yeah, we know what it says. You're not.
And then even in the next slide,
You're not
they
under
said
the
curves are
impression
bending
that they
upward.
actually think that the Earth is flat.
They said the
because,
curves will
you
bend
know,
up if
and
it's a
your
flat
evidence
Earth,
for
and the
that
next slides they have the
is what
curves
they
bending
say
up.
here.
Okay, so why, like,
So
they
you
have curves
right?
bending up if it's Earth is flat? You just keep talking over me.
This because I'm
And
asking
then the next slide,
and you keep
the
interrupting
curves
me.
are bending up. They're bending up in the next slide.
Do you
What
think
should I
that
conclude?
the Navy believes the Earth is flat because of this document, Taylor?
I can't talk to two people.
Yes or no?
She won't say.
I never
There's
made
no
that
way.
claim.
There's no way.
Okay, but can we acknowledge that this is a part of the Navy? Because that was something that was disputed
We
earlier.
agree that it's part of the Navy. Yes, it's a little tiny.
Okay, earlier, can somebody clip where they
It's
said
not
it's not
the Navy. It's not the perspective of
is
the
this part of
Navy.
the
Yeah.
Navy? I said this is part of the Navy. You said no.
Okay. It's hard to follow the conversation, chaps, chapesses.
Red Cloud, don't get me mad.
Oh shit.
Rob, is this a part of the Navy? Is this a part of the Navy or not?
Okay, I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
Okay, is this part of the Navy?
I'll go first. You ready? Do you think
she
that
asked
this
a question?
document?
Wait, she asked
See
a question.
how he acts? See how he acts?
I don't know why he's not.
Yes, it's part of the Navy. Yes, that's it. Now, can you answer the question?
No, he didn't answer.
Yes.
Rob, is this part of the Navy?
Would you like me to answer?
What a
would you
dumb
like me to
question.
answer?
Of course, we've been asking you 1,000 times.
Jesse, shut the fuck up. Would you like me to answer?
Why don't you
Taylor?
just answer the question? Stop asking if they would like you to answer and answer. Because
Taylor, would you like me to answer?
I asked it. Of course, I want an answer.
Okay, so then shut up, Electric, and let me answer. This is somehow connected to the Navy. I don't know how deep it is connected. It's some obscure part of some educational thing of the Navy. Yes.
Okay, earlier you said it's not a part. It says this is the Navy's academic institution.
So there's no way you believe that the Navy believes the Earth is flat, and this is your evidence for it, right? That is not your position.
It'd be nice if Rob can say I was wrong earlier, but it's cool. We'll move past that.
I just answered your question.
I know, but yeah, you should say I'm sorry for lying earlier. But
So
so Rob had a question for me. Did you have it? Did you want to answer?
Yes.
I'll be
Do you
fair.
believe is that your position that the Navy thinks that the Earth is flat because of this document?
Because of this document, absolutely not. If I believe that the Navy thought the Earth was flat, I would think it was because the Earth's actually flat.
So
They
why
knew
did you
that.
bring this document to our attention?
Because he was giving a list of people who'd use flat Earth assumptions for their work, and I just threw this in there because I came across it doing my own research.
And he said the Navy.
Yeah, this is the Navy's academic institution.
Oh my God.
Okay.
They're the ones
So
that
the
put out
question-
research and modules and courses.
So the question would be, why are they saying that they assume the Earth is flat in this instance here in the Navy document?
For their model, why are they
saying
using a flat Earth assumption for their course models? I don't know. But
They're
if
not.
you continue to the next, hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Even if you continue to the next slides, you'll see that they are having upward curving light, obviously with the flat baseline. But they say that would happen on a flat Earth. But then in the next slides, they're saying that it's curving upward. Like they even show that this is what's
let me
happening. So
explain
that's why I'm so confused.
Let me explain why.
I'll take it at least that
let me
she doesn't
explain
think
why.
that
I'm
this
the
has-
Stop tossing around
authority.
flat Earth like a hot potato.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I've been waiting patiently, and here comes Omni.
Go for it,
It's all in relation to a horizontal plane. You want to represent the data points of the direction that the beam is being refracted. The most practical way to represent that is in relation to a horizontal plane. And that's what's happening in reality. They want to represent what's happening in reality. The way that the beam is refracting in relation to a horizontal plane. You have to calculate in your Earth curve after you find the actual rate of, the change.
Can you
find that first in relation to a horizontal plane, and then you could bend your horizontal plane to a
can you support
radius
that
30.
citation? That's not what this citation says. Can you support what you believe with this citation? Because that's not here.
Oh, so you're saying that when you measure like a wave propagating, that it's actually bending around the ball first? Like, how did you measure that? How did you measure the bending around the ball?
Sure.
That's very, very, very well documented. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Incredibly well documented.
Shortwave radio, for example. Shortwave radio.
Well, I would just do.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not bending due to Earth curve.
It sure is.
It is, because it follows the path of the ionosphere.
No, that would mean it's not bending at all.
Yes,
it is. Yeah, because the ionosphere is curving, that the radio waves follow that.
Yeah,
curve
ionosphere
of
is curving.
the Ionosphere. Yes.
I'll note that he didn't specify radio waves. This is easier to show with seismic waves. Seismic waves give us an incredibly clear, incredibly well documented curve of the Earth. Yeah, 100%.
So here's what I'm going to do, Taylor. Now that you've sent this link, I'm going to reach out to this class here and get an explanation for the syllabus for this class and get an explanation of to why they're saying that. and I'm going to bring it back here, and then I'm going to bring it into this chat and post it for you.
Okay.
It could be in a similar way that they say where they talking about airplane rigidity and its fixed weight.
Definitely don't think they're going to tell you that the Earth is
We did
flat.
brought up.
I'm gonna tell you
No,
that.
Red Cloud, you came in late, dude. I tagged
sorry.
you in the I tagged you in the chat. I tagged you in the chat.
No, they don't want other examples of this being
Sorry to
discussed
insert
right
myself.
now. You can't bring up other examples of people treating the Earth as flat right now. That's not good for them.
No, but what
No, you
happens
can.
is
Go ahead. I wanted to hear it. I'm sorry, Red Cloud. Go ahead.
Everybody
You're
cut off
kinda
right as he was providing another example of the government treating the Earth as flat.
Yeah, I'll shut up. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No. Please continue.
Yes, I'm
I
sorry,
thought everyone
Taylor. I've been
interrupted
asked
you.
to shut up. I am
No.
interjecting myself, and I don't.
Why
want
would
to.
you do that? No, you're
Because they've covered stuff
you have
already.
just as much of a right to speak. Okay,
dishonest.
so let's all be quiet, including myself, and let you speak.
Me?
Say what you were going to say, Red.
Yes, of course. Go ahead,
Oh,
Red Cloud,
okay.
right now.
Go ahead, you're standing on a slippery slope, man. Just slip down
Stop.
it. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on. We're letting him talk.
Okay, I appreciate that. It seems to me that there's another reason why they're assuming, in this instance, that the Earth is flat. They're saying, presuming it a flat Earth. There's got to be another reason, because we know that the Navy does not consider the Earth to be flat. It doesn't function that way at all in any fashion. So that is the question. I think Robert's idea of finding out from the syllabus creator or whatever what they're actually meaning by this statement, I think is probably the best thing. Even though we're in an internet discussion, we're in a forum, and so that's fine. But it is probably the best idea for them to find out from the horse's mouth what they're actually meaning by that statement. So that's all I've got to say.
Well, it's not
Sorry
like
to
anybody's life is on the line with the Navy.
So here you go with the Navy
Educational
again.
purposes only, not for any real life situations like training the highest command naval officers in their PhD program.
That's not what this is about that you posted a link to.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they do train high ranking combat military officials.
This is not. You posted a link, and again, it's very clear what they're saying. You just want to miss. You see flat Earth, and your heart palpitates. Oh my God!
They
Flat Earth.
assumed it for their course. They said we're
No, they
using a flat Earth
don't.
assumption.
No.
Yes, they do.
don't
That's what it
assume
says.
It doesn't say
Yes,
this course.
they say for the
assumes-
remainder of this, not remainder. Hold on.
No, it doesn't.
The
You keep
models
saying
in
that
this
it's not
course will
true.
have a flat Earth.
It
Hold on.
says very clearly.
How was it worded exactly?
Would you like me to read it to you? I have it in front of me right
Most
now.
of the models in this course will assume a flat Earth. Is that right?
No, doesn't say that.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty dead on.
It doesn't say that. There's okay. Would you like me to read the whole thing for context?
Most of the displays used for this course use a flat Earth assumption, so the rates appear to bend upward compared the Earth's surface as shown.
Okay, but you're taking one line out of context. Again, you have to read the whole little section. It says programs that display RF.
They're not using those.
Excuse me, I was talking.
We already
Programs
read
that
through all
display
these, dude.
RF propagation, such as AREPS, use different type of representation of the Earth's surface. You should be aware of which type you are looking at. It should be stated somewhere. The three most common types of displays are true Earth radius, 4/3 Earth radius, and flat Earth infinite radius, as shown to the figure to the left. So they're giving you choices. This is a test that's showing how the light. It shows how the RF propagation works on an infinite radius. It's showing you.
Most of the displays used for this course. Most of the displays.
And this is not like some high school course. This is the Navy graduate school.
Take the quiz.
This is not some willy-nilly, let's simplify it. You know, that's not what this is.
You see it says take the quiz
Naval
at the bottom?
Postgraduate Research. This is wild. Like,
do you see at the bottom where it says take the quiz? Okay. There's certain different things that happen on an infinite radius, a true Earth radius, a 4/3 Earth. The RF propagation changes in different ways. Okay.
I was just curious, why is the flat model the preferred model for their displays?
It's
yes,
not
it
preferred.
is. Most of the displays use it.
It doesn't say
Is
preferred.
it in most of their displays?
It doesn't say preferred on here. It doesn't say.
Preferred.
It's what they obviously preferred it. They used it for most of their displays.
Here you go, saying things it doesn't say. It's not preferred
Okay, well
at
they
all.
used it for
That's
most
not
of
what
them.
it says. You want me to read it again, Rob? Here,
They're
I'll read
using
it again for you. Most of the displays used for this course use a flat Earth
So
assumption.
the rays appear to bend upward.
Yes, and the
Taylor
rays
is too
continue to
slick
differ.
to say, yes, I think the Navy believes the Earth is flat because she knows that's not supportable. But
Why are you're changing topic?
Locksmith is not as slick and believes that this means the Navy really does think the Earth is flat.
No, I never claimed that. This is another straw man. You just
add
build a
something
straw
instead of
man
this
and then try and get
conversation.
people to
Don't
I'm just
adopt it.
saying that this is
Nobody's
what it
making
looks
those
like to
claims.
me.
You're not
It looks like
adding
to me like
anything,
Taylor knew better than to say that, but I'm not sure you know better than to say that.
So why didn't they choose the curved model for most of their?
Because
it doesn't say that.
And for the purposes of this, do you know what a simplifying assumption is, Locksmith?
Wait, so why didn't they choose the curved
The
model
Navy
for
doesn't need
most
to
of
be
their
simple. This
displays?
has a
This is a
right
question to
That's what I'm
find
trying
out
to
if
figure
you
out.
need to explain it again. Do
This
you
is an
know
accurate representation.
this is
assumption?
postgraduate school. This is the
If the
highest
answer is
ranking
no,
of schools being
so
created.
Eggshell's explained it pretty well, but I don't know if you heard that.
I'm gonna ask a third time. Why didn't they choose the curved model for most of their displays?
A simplifying assumption is an assumption that is done to make the work easier to figure out by focusing on one
Bro,
particular
you can't
element
handle
of
one
whatever it is they're
question,
trying
like,
to work
seriously?
on. We see simplifying assumptions all the time in physics. I don't know if you've ever taken a physics test.
I might fly an undergrad, not in the Navy
But
graduate.
this to me looks like a simplifying assumption, all right, and is not indicating that this is how the real world works or how most of the information is processed or anything like that. This is a test. This is a course that has a quiz for it. And what they're saying is that for this particular use,
you're spiraling.
We're going to use this
I just have
simplifying
one
assumption.
question. Wait, Omnivore.
All right,
so
well,
why
how about
is
this?
it they?
Why don't you just admit that maybe you could be wrong?
Why didn't they choose the curved model?
Is there a reason for you to think that I would be wrong?
Model that
This
they
is
labeled as
entirely congruent with all the simplifying assumptions we always see for this. So yeah, sure, it could be wrong. It could be.
Just admit that you could be wrong.
Sure, I could be wrong.
You're going with your bias.
No,
but perhaps it could be something else.
No, so that's not true. That is wrong. I have reasons to think I'm not wrong. Okay, and the reasons are like this.
Okay.
There is a section directly above it that is literally titled the curvature of the Earth's curvature, and it shows a curved Earth. That's one reason.
That's
then
not the title.
in the actual section itself, it says true Earth, and it has the words actual Earth radius. So this is another piece of data that makes me think I am correct. Okay? So there are a number of reasons that I have to think what I believe here, and while it's possible I could be wrong, it's not like a 50-50 shot. There's like a incredible mass of evidence on my side for this, Riggs.
Also, I'm just curious as the model they labeled True Earth isn't the model they chose to use for most of their displays. Right? They chose to use a flat Earth model. That's the whole curiosity was going on here.
Locksmith, you have really no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, Robert,
Holy
thank
shit,
you.
Rob,
So
we don't think you
how
know
do you
very-
plan on what's your plan, Robert, to contact these people? Are you going to find an email to email someone? And if you do that, I'd like to
That's a
see
waste
your
of time,
email to
dude.
them
I think
and their
they're gonna
reply to
tell
you.
this paper, bro.
I want to see what you ask them and what their reply is.
Red Cloud, later on over the week, I'm going to work on it, and I'll figure out how I'll get a hold of the syllabus creator.
That's something I would like to see, a screenshot of that.
So we're all curious. It's very curious. At least we all agree it's very suspect.
Red Cloud, you're smart enough to read this to know that this is not,
I know that.
Well, you guys can't come up with an explanation that's reasonable. You guys have to reach out to them, right? So
no,
you guys
the
are on our
explanation
side
is a
here. You guys
simplifying
think it's
assumption,
curious as
Locksmith.
well. We're all
I'm going
trying
to
to
reach
get
out to them to shut you guys up for keep saying those are the
if you have a document drafted by somebody and the document seemingly is ambiguous, the only recourse you have is to reach out to the person that drafted that document and ask for an explanation of that document. That is the only way. Everything else, everything else is speculation.
Yeah, but this is not seemingly ambiguous, though.
I know, Omni, I know. But
okay.
Just for the sake of clarity.
For the sake of
It's
comedy,
not speculation that they use the Earth
we
as
do,
a flat.
we believe it's unambiguous, but they don't believe it's unambiguous.
Right, but
the way to find out is to ask them.
Well,
you guys can't give a reasonable explanation as to why they didn't choose to use the curved model for most of these.
Because it is more complicated. It's a simplifying assumption. Do you know what is meant by simplifying assumption?
Oh, that's so funny.
Right
It would-
here.
it would be
Locksmith.
hating.
Locksmith, I have a question for Locksmith.
Robert.
Reality.
I have a question for Locksmith.
Why would it representing it along a curve be less complicated if it was curved?
Jesse, I'm not talking to you. I have a question for
I
Locksmith.
wasn't addressing you. I'm addressing Locksmith technically.
I have a question
Yeah,
for
that's
Locksmith.
what I'm saying. Like they clearly demonstrated they know they could display it with a curve, but they just
Locksmith.
choose not to.
Because they want
that's why.
students to be able to pick quiz.
Hold on, let me ask Locksmith a question.
Shut up, Rob.
Locksmith,
Jesus Christ.
do you believe, Locksmith, that this document is stating that the Navy believes the Earth is flat?
I'm stating that it states that they chose to use it for most of their displays over the model that they labeled True Earth.
He's got to dodge it. He can't say yes or no.
No, I said no.
So you don't believe that they think the Earth is flat?
No.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Dude, the Navy isn't a gigantic hive mind. You silly clown.
Yeah.
Like you're saying they all think the same thing. That's not how anything ever works.
You have to explain that to Taylor. You have to explain that to Taylor. Tell her.
Let me tell you.
excuse me,
Stop
if I-
yelling
if
and
I can,
shouting. Shut up, Red Cloud. Stop. I'm going to explain something right now. Hold on. Hold on. We're not going down memory lane. Hold on. The Navy is not a hive mind. Okay. The people that have to work on these projects, they might not disclose in their papers what they believe, but what they're indicating based on the data is that that's what they have to present to you as what this is what they have to model to represent what they think is happening. There's phenomena occurring, and they need to represent it mathematically in diagrams and graphs. And this is the
Functionally, a
method that they
military
choose
branch.
to best accurately represent what's happening in reality. That's reality for you.
Functionally,
Okay, so they're not
military branch
using a
is a hive
curve
mind.
to represent reality.
The purpose of a military branch is to follow the orders of any commanding leader, such as the commander in chief. That is by definition of a hive mind. So the military is a hive mind.
Yeah, but you're saying they. You're like, does the Navy think this?
They're not open to.
That is such a malformed
interpret
question to ask if, quote unquote, the Navy thinks something. Realize how childish that question is?
That is how military branches. You have no idea how military works. Then
Yeah, I said that the Navy is not a hive mind. Not everybody is going to think the same thing. They're going to put in the paper what is being shown to them. The data points have to be represented in some form.
Okay, just to be clear, if you're a cop,
top level.
If you're a cop, all right, if you're a cop and you've pulled somebody over, you have a degree of discretion whether what you do with that person. If you see they've got tinted windows, you can do all sorts of different things, right? You can use those probable cause to search the car and all sorts of different things. The officers have discretion. That's not what it is in the military. They don't have discretion. They follow orders. It's a hive mind. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one.
And the people that are doing it need to have correct assumptions and learn correct curricula because people's lives are literally. Who came off mute while I was in the middle of a sentence?
Assumptions of what, Taylor?
Why, Robert? Why come off mute in the middle of me? I have barely got the sentence out. Came off mute immediately, and then you began talking.
I apologize on Robert's behalf.
Why are you doing this?
I apologize on Robert's behalf.
You don't have to apologize for me, Red Cloud.
I'm just trying to make peace. Let's just try not to talk over. I'm just as guilty, and I apologize. Sorry, Tay.
You're not a referee, Robert.
So yeah, I guess what Omni's answer was it was too complex to display. That's why they chose not to display it.
So
I guess curved Earth is just too complex for the Navy to display.
you never answered if you know what a simplifying assumption is. Did you understand Eggshell's explanation?
Yes, I get it.
Okay.
Because it works better, right? So we're just going to assume
not that it works better.
This is the case
that's not what
because it
Eggshell
works
said.
better mathematically, physically, dynamically.
Okay, so the answer is no, you didn't understand the explanation.
Okay, well, can I share?
Is it not an assumption assumed to simplify?
It has to do with the simplified assumption.
So
the simplified assumption, it's not just making it easier and simpler. The rays are actually bending in the opposite direction if we assume this. Why are you talking and me talking? The rays are bending in the opposite direction if we are using this model. You see how in the other diagrams they're bending down? Well, if we assume flat Earth, now not only are we it changes the whole thing. It changes the entire way that the waves are bending. That the radio waves are bending, okay? And in the remainder of the course, they continue bending up. But it says if it were flat Earth, they would bend up. And then for many of their other depictions, keeps scrolling next, they continue bending up and explaining why they're bending up. Because of temperature, because of humidity, You know, so that's just crazy to me. And these people have to be accurate. They are training top-level combat people. Not only is this college-level courses, this is graduate, postgraduate level courses. This is the most accurate that you can be, and they are literally training and teaching people who are going to be fighting for our lives. Okay, so it kind of matters.
I want to know something about the three types of assumptions that are made. One of them is called true Earth, and one is called flat Earth. If the flat Earth is what is really assumed, then that would be called true Earth, and the globe Earth would be called globe Earth. Right?
Now you're getting caught up with the labels. You're getting caught up with the labels.
One is true, and by definition, one is.
And they should use Owen.
Right? That's what I would conclude.
The problem is the reason the rays are bending down on the globe model is because of nothing. It's literally just following Earth curve. Now, you guys don't have a practical reason to say why the rays are bending down. Typically, rays only bend due to the relative density of some medium. That's what causes rays to bend. On a globe model, the rays just bend because of Earth curve.
No, the rays bend because of Earth curve because the difference in the density of the air changes because Earth is curving. So those density rates change with the curve of the Earth. I'm not a scientist, and I can understand that.
No, it's not the science.
That's not science?
Nope. Your ray steadily propagates along one layer until it intersects a medium, which causes it to bend down, according to your
If I may be so bold, I would like to know why no one here, not being pointing fingers but I would like to know why no one in here can say that they believe that this shows that the Navy thinks Earth is flat. So if that's the case, I don't know why this is being brought up. If that's not your position, that's confusing.
Why do the rays bend down?
Someone please explain.
Why do the rays bend down?
Please answer my question. Someone.
For practical purposes, they treat the Earth as a flat plane.
See, Sin Cleanser makes a better glober than you. He can ask questions.
For practical purposes, they treat the Earth as flat.
That's what it says.
Is that what you're saying? So are you saying then the Navy assumes Earth is flat?
They're saying.
No, that's not what. That isn't what they're saying. But that's
how you interpret. Listen. They said the simplified way of understanding this topic is to present the Earth as if it's a flat plane. That's what.
All right. Does that mean that's the true or just simplified?
It means for practical purposes, the Earth is flat.
So why do they say true Earth? What does that mean?
Them. Irrelevant. Doesn't mean
that's what Robert's going to do.
Do they use that? No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, because the paper clearly says that for the majority of the class, it's presented as a flat plane.
That's the assumption.
So functionally, they use a flat Earth model.
No,
the true Earth model, they don't use that for most of their displays. Why don't?
So what does it mean true?
Question. Why don't they use the true Earth model for most of their?
Why
displays?
do they? The better question is why they call it the true model, the true Earth.
That's what we're asking. Why are they calling it the true Earth if that's not the model that they're using?
Because the simplest reason is that Earth
That's a
isn't
great
flat,
question.
and the
I
Navy
love how
doesn't
you
think
put
Earth is
that.
flat.
Is the Earth is flat.
That's not the simplest reason. Is because they're making that assumption for the majority. That doesn't mean that they think the Earth is flat, because no one in here can say that they believe that the Navy thinks the Earth is flat. None of you would commit to that position.
For
But we don't have
I got no problem saying
So that means you have. So I don't want to be rude or anything, but you don't have anything as far as an argument, because you won't commit to even saying that the Navy thinks Earth is flat due to
we
this
don't have to
evidence.
go off what they might assert. We can just look at what they're demonstrating.
So why won't you commit to that
Right.
position?
So we don't have to get caught up in their labels or what they might assert or proclaim. We can just look at the structure of their behavior and what they're demonstrating.
It doesn't matter what they believe, man.
I'm
What
free then
matters
to
is
make
the
my own
data.
assumptions about what.
Let's look at the data. You want to ask like personal beliefs.
Hey, let's get a concession. All right.
Why don't we just
concession.
appeal to the
Let's hear it.
side?
The Earth
Go ahead.
is treated for practical and functional purposes as a flat plane. That's what it says, right?
Concessions don't build bridges, they block them.
Oh, sorry, Sage. Sage muted.
I just don't understand why we
does the
can't appeal
Navy
to the science. I don't get it.
Does the Navy, as a whole, the entire Navy, do they function as if Earth is flat?
Simply answer,
according
said
to the-
Sage
according to their
in the
model,
context of
right
discussing
here,
the
it's in
treatment of
this
the Earth
paper.
as a flat plane
All
for
right.
practical
So
and functional
when Robert
purposes, while seeking a
contacts the people
concession
who
from
did
Red
this
Cloud Media about
and
this
wrote
point.
this and says, do you assume the Earth is flat? I'm not sure what he's going to ask, but he's going to say, this paper appears to show us that you treat the Earth as flat. Is that the case? And they'll come back and say no. I will
we don't
bet
have to
you.
go off what
I
they
will
assert.
bet you.
We can look at their behavior and what they're demonstrating and the
That's the
structure
largest
of
sum of
that,
money.
and we can just
I have
call it for what it
$1,000.
is. We don't have to go off what somebody proclaims.
I've got $1,000 in my bank account at least, so I'll bet you $1,000 that what their reply is no, we don't treat the Earth as flat. They won't think the Earth is flat.
Then you need to pay out because that's
Someone, let's just put a bet. The reply Robert will get is no, we don't think Earth is flat. Earth is a globe.
You just lost $1,000.
But how does that change what they're
That's the
demonstrating? How does that
safest bet
change
I've ever made in my
their
life.
behavior, what they're demonstrating?
Okay, what
their
it changes
behavior
is that your
contradicts
assumption.
what they're proclaiming. I'm going to go
the
with their
assumption-
behavior instead of just frivolous. Just
So you're going to
claiming.
go with your misinterpretation of this paper rather than what they'll actually tell you. If
I'm
you
going to go with
contact
what
them
they're
and say,
demonstrating,
hey,
right? Because
Mr.
actions
Navy,
speak louder than words, right?
these are words.
You're
going to get a reply
If
in the
somebody
form of
robs a
text.
bank and you have video evidence of them robbing a bank, and you go ask them, "Hey, did you rob the bank?" I'm sure they're going to say they didn't rob the bank, right? So we have to
You've
look
got
at
this-
the structure of their behavior and what they're demonstrating to us, and build our conclusion off of that.
What you're doing is you have the assumption Earth is flat. And so when you see something like this, you assume that it is supporting your position that the Earth is flat. You could be wrong. The way and the only way to find out what was intended by these words that were on this piece of paper that you've cited is to ask the people who put the words on that piece of paper that you cited. And if they don't support your position in your assumption that it means that the Navy thinks Earth is flat, then you don't have a good position. Then you're wrong, basically. And I believe you're wrong to the tune. I don't even know. I'll have to look at my bank account. I'll sell everything I have on that.
Why
on
is
the
it so
safety
difficult for
of
you
the
to
assumption that
understand-
you're wrong about that.
Why is it so difficult for you to understand that when it comes to actually using this education, they treat it as flat? Like that's our
Because
whole
it's
point.
just an assumption.
When
Because
push
Earth
comes
isn't
to
flat.
shove, the Earth is flat.
No, because Earth isn't flat. So I've got that behind me. So if this thing in this paper,
But they treat it as if it is, right?
they don't. The
It's
Navy
an
does not
axiom.
treat.
It's an axiom. They assume it as an axiom. Every logical system has assumptions and axioms.
Yeah, that's funny. You want to mention logic? Yeah, we should bring up logic because the logic is that you should be referencing a geoid. And
Well, the logic
all you
I
have
just
is a
heard-
perfect. All you have is a perfect radius model. You guys don't even actually try to make your accurate representation of what you think the Earth is.
If
You
you
just
don't
say,
mind
"Look,
me
here's
saying-
a perfectly curving line with a radius of 3959. This is the Earth." That's
If you
not your
don't mind
model,
me-
dude. Your model is like an oblate spheroid with a topographical surface. It's a geoid. So you don't even try to represent what you think the Earth is when you go to make these diagrams.
I don't know what I don't know what you were addressing me on that. You're just saying you, and none of that is true. I haven't said any of that in this conversation. But you go ahead and just say you.
The point that I'm making is like, these data points, they're like from one position, right? It's just the change of the signal, right? It's just a phase. As it gets further away, they think it's being refracted. That's it. It's just A to B. They're just measuring over distance what happens to the propagation of the wave. So they consider it's being refracted. So they try to represent it in a diagram. And the surface of the Earth is the 0 point. It's the point in the gradient. It's just a graph. But the point that I'm making is that graph is the most practical way to treat the situation. It's literally the only way anyone's ever tried to treat these situations. Why would you treat it as anything else? They only make these bendy diagrams because for people like you, who want to think that those diagrams matter. They don't.
They make these diagrams for people like me? What do you mean people like me? What's that mean?
What's happening is you're wrong, and this shouldn't go on this long. Unrealistic.
Even if
somebody would contend this.
Okay, Squiggle, let me ask you this question. If Robert contacts them and they come back and say, no, we don't believe Earth is flat, this is just blah, 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 what we are telling, what Omni was saying and what Robert was saying, and what I am saying. If they come back and say, no, we don't assume Earth is flat, Earth is not flat. If they reply...
People do not know how to answer that question.
If they reply, who even knows if they reply? But let's say they reply, and they say, no, we don't assume the Earth is flat, the Earth is a globe. Will you concede?
I certainly do.
Will you concede that your interpretation of this document was flawed?
What they're going to say is that for practical purposes, it's a flat plane, but the Earth is a globe. That's what they'll say.
No, they won't say that because they don't treat Earth as if it's flat. Not at all.
This is not difficult.
Because the Navy is dealing with navigation, and no one that navigates the world with GPS is going to say that.
You would deny it even if you saw it yourself. You would deny it even if you read it with your own 2 eyes. You just deny
Read
it.
what? Read what?
The papers that say that they treat it like a flat plane.
What about the testimony of the people who wrote the papers? And if we say, did you mean this? And they say, no, we didn't mean that. We mean Earth is a globe, but you can assume it's flat for these purposes. And that's why we said that. But Earth is a globe. If they said that, you would deny it. You would say, no, I'll still believe this paper. And that's fine to do. You do that. That's great. Do that.
I think you've completely missed the whole point.
No, I'm hitting on the head. The only person in here that suggested contacting the people who were responsible for producing that document was Robert. I don't think anyone here would dare.
Got muted because he's wrong about stuff.
Well, okay, he was muted. Okay, so Rob was muted. Why?
He was wrong about stuff.
He was wrong, so he got muted.
Well, I don't know why.
Somebody muted me. They just took it off. Whoever did, thank you.
Yeah, that's not.
Whoever took me off mute, I appreciate it.
You guys don't even give yourself space to think. Like, you just need the globe to be reality so bad that you can't even listen to how you can't even listen to how reality works. You just have to insert a globe where it doesn't fit. Like every time, you can't even listen to what reality is telling you.
It's just, I mean, honestly, I could apply the same thing to you, Squiggle. You're so stuck on flat Earth, no matter what. Even Robert's going to contact them and say, no, Earth is a globe. You'll go, no, this document said. Whereas the person who wrote the document comes back and says, no, it's not.
You were hanging out with Mark Sargent in like 2015 or something. You're stuck on it.
Yes.
It's a fly paper or whatever.
Well, you're changing the topic now, aren't you? All right.
The frustration is, it's very frustrating because you got this link to this paper, you take it out of context, and it gets into this big argument. And, like I said, there's only one way to resolve it. I'm going to, maybe they'll respond, maybe they won't, but I'll try and reach out to them. And if they respond, I'll bring it back in here. And then
it's not a big argument. You just dragged it out because you're slow and don't want to answer.
And then I'll bring it back in here and you could say it's fake. So I don't know.
You could have just answered the question.
That's the other option too. Just say, oh, that's fake. You wrote that.
This is not a big argument. All you have to do is concede to what's obvious. The most practical way to represent what's happening in reality is treating the Earth as a horizontal plane.
No, that's not what it says in the thing.
I hope Squiggle. I really hope that maybe, soon you'll sort of realize we don't need to concede anything to you. I hope you will
Do you
realize
realize
someday
that nobody
we don't need to
ever jumped on your
concede a
side?
dang thing to you, just so you know.
Why didn't they make most of their displays with the True Earth model? I don't get it. Like, why?
Why did they say True Earth?
Isn't that the label they gave for the curved
Is
Earth?
that a clue? Can't you see? What's the deal? Why can you see that the word true Earth means that is the true shape of the Earth?
Well,
Right, so why didn't they
deal?
choose to make most of their displays the quote-unquote true Earth?
Well, hold on, Locksmith.
That doesn't make any sense.
The displays that they're referring to are regarding RF propagation. Those are the displays they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not talking about every single display of their course. They're talking about RF propagation.
Why wouldn't they display the wave propagating along the surface of the Earth the way that it actually does? Why wouldn't they do that?
They do.
Again,
No,
I'm getting deja vu.
For most of their displays, they use the flat Earth model. That's where.
But not all of them. Not all of them. Doesn't say all.
The
of
ones
them?
they don't, they call True Earth because that's the truest representation of the Earth.
It says if
So
actual
the truest representation of the Earth should, have the most amount of displays. Why are we displaying models
would
that
the
don't
true
reflect reality?
What would the true definition of true shape of the Earth be labeled?
You see what you're doing, Locksmith?
I'm just trying to figure it out because it's just the waters are muddy. It's confusing. You label a model True Earth, but for most of your displays, you use the flat Earth model.
Okay, but how would you label which one is? If you had three options, how would you label the one that is really true? Would you not label that true? I would.
Right, the one I labeled true, I would choose that model for most of my displays. Right,
that
I wouldn't
depends
just
on what you're
choose
doing.
The one that I don't
depends
believe to be true for most of my displays. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree in principle. However, sorry, Robert, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Red Cloud, what you're taking it and you're assuming one thing. They're talking about a specific thing of RF propagation, and that's what they're using their displays for. They're not talking about a generalization.
I understand. I'm just in this limited context for this paper in this course or whatever.
Yeah.
Why
in this
would
one
they choose?
application, that's a very, very good question, and it's an honest question, and it's a valid question. It is why are they choosing that for the majority of their examples or whatever?
We know
it's a
why.
valid. It is a good question.
Not a question. We don't ask why.
It
we
is
know
a question,
why.
Jesse. It is a good question.
No,
Jesse.
you ask stupid. Then you have found a way to ask stupid questions.
No, he asked a good question.
I'm talking about what's his face? What's his name?
Locksmith. You asked a good question.
Locksmith. I'm saying that Locksmith's question is good. So are you saying the Locksmith's question is stupid? You weren't listening, were you? You gotta listen to Wiggle before
your questions
before you
are
want
stupid.
to insult people. Just listen a bit closer there, man. Okay.
I heard you. That's why I said your question is stupid.
I was referring to Locksmith's question. So you're saying that is stupid. All
the
right.
question that you asked was stupid.
Locksmith asked a very good question, and it's actually a question.
You did not repeat Locksmith's question.
It's a legit question to ask.
And
I don't know. You're better than this. We've had great conversations. I don't know what's up your butt, but
Jesse,
you're better than this. Come on.
And I have the same question as Locksmith does, and I'm curious myself why they would do it, and I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it. I'm going to reach out to these people that created the syllabus, and I'm going to ask why they are using the majority of their things for
I don't think you understand what's happening. I'm going to explain to you what's happening. Locksmith is asking you because you're asking. Okay, so we know why. Locksmith.
We're not asking.
Why? Hold on, Rob. Don't interrupt.
Okay, hold on.
Locksmith is asking you a hypothetical. He's testing your honesty. You're not answering the question. You're repeating it back to him like a clown. But it's the question you should be asking yourself.
I just said it. I'm asking
myself is What the heck? What the blank is wrong with me? I talk to flat earthers.
Oh, I ask myself that question every day. Oh, Jesse, I asked the same thing. I said, you know what, Jesse? I have the same question as Locksmith, and I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it by reaching out to the creator of this syllabus.
Locksmith isn't asking he's asking a rhetorical question.
Clown.
He doesn't need the answer. He knows the answer.
No, he assumes the answer.
He's asking you. He
answer.
wants to know if you can answer the question correctly because he knows the answer.
Nobody knows the answer to this
I know
question.
the
dishonest.
answer. Here,
That's a
Locksmith,
dishonest
ask me the
position.
question and I'll answer it for you.
That's a dishonest position.
Hold on, Red Cloud.
Okay, here, you ready? Here's the question. You ready? Why in this particular paper?
Rob, I literally just asked him a question.
I can ask you real quick.
Probably go ahead.
Yeah, please, Locksmith.
Okay, so why would you label a model of true Earth and not use that model for most of your displays? Why would you use a model
that is a good
question. I don't think
question.
it's true.
Okay, I'm going
We
to
agree. We would like to know that too.
You
we
failed
would like
to
to know
answer the
that
question.
too. That's not. No, we would like that question answered.
Are you going to answer the question?
Squiggle, you stop inserting yourself.
It's a
conversation in this instance between Locksmith and us.
I have an answer.
On our side, we have an answer. You guys have to ask them why.
You
on
assume
our side, we have the answer.
You don't have an answer.
You've just made the assumption.
It's the most practical, simplest model because everything works. Right?
Everything doesn't work. Nothing works.
Nothing works.
You got no. That's why you have no model. Nothing works. Sunsets don't work. Sunrises don't work. Eclipses don't work. Navigation doesn't work. GPS doesn't work.
This is about a test. This is a class, and they're taking a test on RF propagation. Okay, so like I said, you're assuming something. None of us have an answer of why they're using the majority of their models as flat Earth. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it if they respond to me.
I have the answer, dude. Why are you interrupting?
You don't have the answer, Jesse.
I was trying to answer. You started yelling over.
You don't have an answer. You know what your answer is, Jesse? Oh, the Earth's flat.
The answer is that the word true is conjecture because they presume the model for safety of journalism in the scientific field.
What?
Yeah, because they need to stay within like these fine lines of scientific journalism.
Shut up, dude. You're stupid.
No, don't tell me to shut up. I'm giving you I'm giving Locksmith an answer. Locksmith asked me a question. Let me answer. Shut the fuck up, Rob.
No, nobody wants to hear your asinine
I want to answer Locksmith's question.
No, I want to hear it. I don't
want to hear your joke, your asinine
I'm not asking you, Rob. I'm trying to address Locksmith.
Nobody wants to hear your comments, Jesse.
I want to
so the scientific.
Nobody wants to hear somebody.
Robert,
let him stop talking.
Let him have his rope.
Yes, Red Cloud, stop talking.
Okay.
The scientific journals that they have to, where their articles are getting publicized, where their papers get publicized, they have to follow very strict literature to get published, or else during peer review they just strike it down because everything needs to show support for the current paradigm. That's how peer review process works. You're not getting approved until you agree with all the current scientific journals. So what's really going on in this article is they're using the word true as conjecture, and then the more commonly used display is because it is the most commonly is being used commonly because it is what's commonly observed. It is what's commonly presented from the observation. So that's the reason they use the word. The word true is conjectured, and the word most common is because it is literally commonly used.
That is a beautiful example of blind conjecture pulled out of your nose. With not a shred of evidence.
You can't do. You can't tell us what you think. You dodge everything.
I can do this. I can go to the source, or rather, Robert's going to.
He asked you the question and you didn't answer. You want to answer it now?
That's not a test of our integrity, my friend. It is not a question of our integrity. Someone with integrity would go to the horse's mouth and hear it from the horse's mouth. Someone with no integrity would make up a conjecture on their own, pull it out of the nose, and just say, "This is what is true," without ever finding out for sure what is true.
I know for a fact that's
what someone with no integrity.
Yeah, what I said is true.
That isn't true. It's your
what
conjecture.
do you expect their response to be? Can you maybe a possible prediction here? What do you think they're gonna say? Because you guys just have no answer right now. We're waiting. The verdict is out. We're still waiting for Robert. We have an answer. Can you provide an answer?
Yes.
No,
That's why they might.
You don't have an answer. you have conjecture.
They still can't answer. They're
Let's
using the word I
conjecture-
used. They're saying my words back to me. This guy's
Conjecture is okay if you're doing scientific experiment. You can use conjecture in all sorts of different things. You can make assumptions and all sorts of whatever you want to do. That's fine. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to ask the people who produce this document. Do you not agree? Or because if you're saying saying that it's just
this is some freaking mental gymnastics, bro.
Common.
Well, I can't come up with an answer.
Gymnastics you have to get to.
That makes
the position
more
you've just
sense than
taken
because
does
it's
involve
just
more
more
gymnastics I've ever
practical
heard in
because
my life.
that's
No, that's just that's just conjecture based on no evidence at all, because you believe the Earth is flat, and you're not even going to try and test it. You're not even going to go outside and try and test to see if the Earth is flat or not. You're too scared.
They chose to display the flat model more. They chose to display the flat model more. We don't know why they did that. Robert's going to ask them, right?
That's why we had to have.
Can you offer any possible explanation as to why they would do this?
Flat Earth is a good Antarctica because you're all too scared. That's why.
I was talking about Antarctica.
Every time the same bullshit from your Globers. Every time.
Yeah, he's just flinging.
You're too scared to test flat Earth because you know.
Yeah, I don't know why Rich Evans doesn't.
I have the answer. What you're looking for is they're using a simplifying assumption, but you don't accept that answer. So I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
So it's too complex, right?
Well, that's the point. You don't accept my answer, so let me get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. So the globe is, is making it more complex than it actually is.
Let me address your comment in the chat, Locksmith, about maps being flat. Okay.
Oh dear. Oh come on.
Come on, no. Let me address it because it's so stupid. It's so dumb.
You don't have to address it though.
All right, fine. I won't.
This is a tag team gay Glober thing you guys are doing. You guys are stupid.
Come on.
It's just so stupid.
No, what you say is stupid. Everything you're saying is stupid, Rob.
Jesse,
everything, Robert.
Jesse, you have the intellect of a toddler. Okay, we don't like. I don't want
to go there.
Your timing, your outbursts are literally in alignment with a child. Like you outburst at the same time a child would.
No, all maps are flat. What is that? What is he trying to say there?
You couldn't address.
Have you
I can't.
Every map that I've been in contact with, I laid it out on the table, and it was flat as a board. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was using different maps.
Okay. That's called a projection. You know what the Gleason's map is? It's flat, right? It goes on someone's wall. Every flat earther that debates, at least, every flat earther has a picture of the Gleason's map. It's flat, right? You know what that is? You know what that is? Do you know what the Gleason's map is? A projection of the globe.
When you're looking at a
projection of the globe.
Like, let's say projection flat. Is it laying flat on my table?
It's a projection of the globe.
Flat Earth.
Is it laying flat?
Otherwise, it wouldn't need to be called a projection.
He's saying he doesn't have to account for Earth curve.
Why would it be called a projection if it's not a projection of the globe?
Why would it be laying flat on my table if it's not laying flat on my table?
Because it's a projection.
Okay, so is the projection laying flat on my table, or
no? Yes, because you can do that because it's a projection.
No.
Oh, we can turn it around and say, the globe is a projection from the AE map.
No, it's not.
So simple as that. So at this point, we have to talk about physical measurements. Physical measurement, and not we claim Earth curvature. Bullshit.
Well, what physical measurements
stop interrupting
do you have
Red Cloud? Can you not interrupt everybody?
Let me just explain something to you about these maps you're talking about. When you're looking at a map on your table, like a road atlas or something, you're looking.
Yeah, don't be like Rob. You're much better than Rob.
It's only good for very local because the more you zoom out on a flat map, the more it distorts. Okay, so it's only good for very local navigation if you're looking at a flat map. If you're looking at a giant map that's blown up onto a big thing, it's all distorted. It can't be real.
There's all sorts of different projections. Gleason's is just one of them. How do you know it's
distorted?
Because Australia, because you can measure Australia yourself, and you look at on the Gleason's map, it's distorted out of all proportion, literally.
You ever tried
not that
peeling
shape
an orange
in reality?
Electric, have you ever tried peeling an orange and making it flat? You can't.
Well, you can do that.
Dude, you haven't
put it in all
proven
segments.
that the surface is curving, though.
Yeah, we have.
Oh my God!
You just stick your fingers into your ears and just go la la la. That's not real. Everything is fake.
Can you prove the distance with a physical measurement?
Yeah, you can go to Australia. You can calculate the width of Australia according to the AE map.
Calculate. Oh,
You
not
can
measure.
you can calculate.
Okay.
Let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my sentence.
Yeah, Red Cloud.
You
I don't
can
know why you think a
look at the
calculation is a
map
measurement.
and calculate how wide it looks on the map, or how wide it appears to be represented on the map. Then you can go measure the width of Australia yourself and see if it matches.
How do you
And
plan on
what
measuring
it
the
will
distance between these points?
And on our maps, we have a scale that you can use that perpetrates real life.
How do you plan on measuring
You have no
distance
maps.
along
You have
the surface?
nothing with distances or scales or anything. You have nothing.
You know what? It was like
How
10
do you
years. I think
plan on measuring
2015. I
your
think it was.
distance from A to B along the surface? How do you plan on doing that?
Well, how about this? Since 2015, there have been Australian flat earthers. Why have they not gone from one coast to the other coast, diligently, carefully, gradually measuring the coast-to-coast distance and compared that to the AE map? You've had 10
I'll
years.
answer your question once you answer mine. Do you need me to repeat it for you?
Yes, please.
How do you plan on verifying these distances?
Oh my God.
I don't plan on verifying these distances. I plan on waiting for you to verify a
How do you
distance,
know
knowing
that
full
if
well
I
that you never
unravel an
will.
orange, that is not going to match the proportions of a flat Earth? How do you know that?
Because you won't go and measure flat Earth. No one in flat Earth will measure flat Earth.
You didn't verify
Australia,
that.
with all respect, flat earthers in Australia have never attempted to measure the width of Australia, which is one of the most obvious ways you can test to see if the AE map is accurate. You haven't done it.
Peel an orange, Jesse, and see if you can lay it flat without ripping it apart.
Implying the Earth is an orange.
No,
the Earth is pear-shaped. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you'd have to take a pear. More
It's not a pear. It's an oblate spheroid, and it's almost a perfect sphere. It's almost a perfect sphere. Almost.
Yeah, it's so close to perfect sphere you can't tell that it's actually a little bit bulgy in the middle. You can't tell because there's only 35 miles difference.
No, do you need me to post the picture of the geoid for you?
Like Jesse, nobody cares about you.
No, we're gonna post the actual.
Post a picture of the Earth like from the moon.
Okay, first you need to realize that nowhere near a perfect sphere.
And by the way, just want to point this out: that if you photograph the Earth and you're not looking directly at the equator, you won't even see bulge.
Take a look at that perfect sphere, Rob. In the
no, he's got what he's got, which is.
It looks like
there's no picture of the geoid.
Yeah, look at that picture of the globe. Look at that.
No, it's not a picture of the globe. It's also not the model of the globe.
Yeah, look at that picture. What is that? That would even show
it's a visualization with highly, I think, factor 1,000 increased deviations.
That's great.
Gravitational map
so
of
much
the Earth.
for your
Bending up and explaining why they're bending up because of temperature, because of humidity. You know, so that's
Tayler,
just crazy to me. And these people
Can I
have to
real
be
quick
accurate. They
tell
are
Alexis what a
training
simplifying
top level
assumption is?
combat people. Not only is this college level courses, this is graduate, postgraduate level courses. This is the most accurate that you can be, and they are literally training and teaching people who are going to be fighting for our lives. Okay, so it kind of matters.
I want to know